Hello, everyone, and welcome to FMK Anime. I'm your host, Meep, joined by our other co-host, Dalaron.
Hel-
Say hi.
Hello, it's me. Also, I realized we should be using the old banner.
Yeah, and we are here before you today because we did a little bit of a fucky wucky. Waited, we waited a little bit too long to upload the Winter Awards, and Twitch did the funny deletion where it deleted it off of our Twitch, and we have not been able to get it back. So we're going to do the next best thing. We apologize for any inconvenience. You won't get to hear the actual deliberation, but we will, from the best of our memory, tell you, our which it was like which votes it was between, what we chose, and talk about the categories a little bit. But we do apologize. We will do our best to make sure this doesn't happen again in the future.
Also, apologies if that came up on mic. I just accidentally elbowed my fucking mic.
Dal, don't fist fight your fridge.
I'm
We're on stream.
sorry.
But yeah, let's. Uh, are you ready to go right into it, or do you have
Yeah,
anything else to
let's
say
let's.
beforehand?
I mean, we're just going to be going through our winter words and just kind of review. It's just a way for us to kind of, I guess, make up content since we've already made it. Bear with us. This is our first time doing something like this. And as always, your feedback is very much appreciated. But yeah, there's nothing really to it. We're going to be doing the personal awards first, and from there on end, we'll get into the more unanimous, which I think will be easier to talk about. But let's give this a go.
Alrighty. As for the personal awards, the first category was the Waifu and Husbando category. My runner up, I remember I had a hard time choosing between White Blood Cell and Rudy's mom. Although eventually I landed on Rudy's mom just because she's exactly my type. She has libido that I have, or like the sex drive that I have. I felt like me and her would be a good speed, so I chose that one. But then for my winner, I'm always a sucker for the character that just loves to fight and has that smile on their face as they do. I chose Maki as my winner from Jujutsu Kaisen. Oh, Rudy's mom is from Jobless Reincarnation, by the way. But yeah, no, Maki was
One
just
of the few good characters in that show. Goddamn.
yep.
Trying to find Maki. Trying to find Maki. Ah, too many screen
Just
caps. It's been a whole season. I don't fucking remember where anything is. Oh, there's no Maki.
and
No, there has to be Maki screenshots.
we
Come
we
on.
had the one of the bullet going towards her face, but
See it. That's the
Maki.
thing.
Listen, you find it. I'll vamp about why I chose Maki.
Yeah, let's
Maki is
talk about
just
Maki.
Yeah, she was a fun character. I remember at the start of the first season when she's introduced, I remember you and Gilly Dell, you were not into her at all and the other second years, but the second season, I think the scarcity of side characters in the first season while it was developing Itadori worked so well when we had a kind of a scarcity of Itadori in the second season, but it showed us a lot of the side characters. I felt that worked fantastically. Like Maki is a great character, her motivations I enjoy. Like she wants to stick it to her family and prove that even though she doesn't have a technique, she can compete. And it was fantastic watching her fights with Miwa and her sister. She kicks so much ass. I absolutely loved every time Maki was on screen.
Yeah, she is good. While I personally was not like the hottest on that character, it just I mean these personal awards literally are designed to be for one's personal taste. But I cannot disagree that Jujutsu Kaisen season 1 part 2 Redux fucking I don't know. Basically the second half of the first season, which weird, just call it season 2. Anyway, I cannot disagree that they definitely gave more time to the many side characters that they introduced, and one could argue barely were able to set up in part one. It's another thing that Jujutsu Kaisen does well, man. It works its characters in a way that doesn't make them seem obscure, but we've seen that before, and it's all about what the show continues to do with them, because while introductions are powerful the true difficulty of keeping up with your side characters is exactly that, keeping up with your side characters.
Yeah, as much as I love my hero, man, do Ida and Uraraka fall off after their strong introductions.
Shame.
Oh boy.
Naruto had the same thing. We had introduction of certain characters like throughout the first few seasons. Then we have the tuning exams, and then we get to see these characters really come into their own, and then they just fall by the wayside again as we continue to ridiculously focus on our, Team 7, main 3. I'm hoping Jujutsu Kaisen doesn't do that well.
Yeah. Uh Alrighty. As for Gilly, he chose Toru from Horimiya, uh,
Oh, that's
and
right. This is the
as his
season with
runner-up.
Horimiya.
Yeah, that was his runner-up, and as his
Uh,
winner, he chose Shadow from Skate to Infinity. I don't remember his exact reasonings. Unfortunately, it's been a bit, but I just remember he was real. He had always loved Shadow from the beginning,
he did.
and I remember he was really into Toru. Like Toru is such a good character as well.
Toru was
Like
a good boy for him because we just needed to give Toru the credit he deserved because he's a really good friend. And I remember his reasonings for Shadow being that like he liked the kind of like the duality of Shadow. His like Skate Sona was this like ridiculous bastard that he just really enjoyed and found really funny. But he actually really appreciated the soft side that he had outside of it, and how he's just a good boy who just wants, to find love. And I think Gilly a little bit, I think that resonated with Gilly a little bit.
mhm. But Dell, what were your husbando and or waifu?
Let's see. Opening Discord again. Up votes for collapse. Like I said, guys, this is a little difficult. All right, here we go. Votes. What were my? God damn it! This is harder to do than I thought. We have too many channels, but it's okay.
That's why I have both the nominees and the
Oh,
winners open.
look at that. My nominee, my runner-up was also Rudy's mom, which I feel now bad because I don't have her name. But if I look up jobless, I'll be
Ze-
Zenia.
Zelly.
Zenra. Is it?
I know there's an L in there somewhere, but maybe Zenila, or I'm not sure, but it's something like that.
Well, let's find out.
I remember because you were also torn on if you should pick White Blood Cell or Rudy's mom.
Yeah, yeah. White blood cell by design is just. But at the end of the day, the waifu award has to go to not just design and physical appearance, but personality. And while I enjoy the softer moments that we had for what am I saying here? For white blood cell, it's just, she's still far more reserved than I would be interested in seeing. I'm confused. Do we not her build in the show? Because we really should, my anime.
Yeah, we White Blood Cell though does get a lot more like after we killed it because we see that she's very much also very broken by how bad the body is, and the reason she keeps on is because she you just have to have hope that the body gets better
Try to make a
so
little
that the
less little clicky sounds I'm hearing. Try to be a little less active next to your mic.
so yeah she keeps going on because you have to have hope, and so that the people that died didn't die for anything, didn't die for nothing. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
it's just I'm always a sucker for that kind of character. That's just me.
Yeah. Well, for yeah, so for my runner up I also had, her name was Zenith Grey Rat.
Ah,
Zenith. And I really liked this character. Honestly, she was one of the more redeeming things about the show. She her character got really cheated with the anime adaptation when they just had her husband straight up commit adultery and cheat on her instead of like polyamorous relationship, which I think not just because like I'm open to polyamory, but I just think that is a dynamic that would be more. It needs to be explored. It's fascinating. It's the complexities and in the yeah. I mean, there's no point of beating around the bush. The complexities and intricacies, I fucked up that word, but you know what I mean, of that kind of relationship are exponential. They're not linear. So like I love to see that kind of dynamic explored more in anime, in media in general, in storytelling. But the day will come when the day will come. Regardless, this character was just endearing. She was spunky, she was cute, but she could also be like really maternal and like sympathetic and just like soft and caring. She also knew when to stand up for herself. And she was a magic user with like this sword user husband, and their dynamic was really good until like complications came about, but the complications were also part of the story. Standalone, she's hot, she's cool, she's pretty, and I overall enjoyed her presence. She was a very good anime mom, and I enjoyed that. But in terms of my actual winner of the waifu award, uh less because waifu and more because just the goodest bean, uh, it comes from the show One Direct Priority, which we are still waiting for to see the finale of. Just one more month, y'all. Just a month and 5 days. I'm waiting for it. But I had to give it to Momoe because this show is incredibly intimate and is like super in depth with its characters. And I this stream would go on for so long and we have so many awards to go through that I must digress. But Momoe's character, her story overall, I don't know if it resonated the most in me in terms of like I relate to Momoe, but damn it all to hell if I do not empathize with her the most out of everyone, including I. Like just a person, yeah, I guess there is a personal level there, like just a person who she just wants to find love and be liked for who she is, not to be taken as someone who's not who she's not to not be treated as a boy, to not be treated as like this gallant hero, but just to be held and to experience a level of intimacy and just acceptance that she's not found in her life. She also just means so well. She gets super excited and gets really giddy about things and sometimes doesn't think things through because she's more caught up in the moment about just having a good time with her friends or a romantic story happening. And she's just adorable and kind, and she stands up for people partially the way she wishes someone would stand up for her, but also because she just believes in doing things right. And damn it, Momo, you are my favorite character from that show.
Well, speaking of things that we loved,
Speaking of
but maybe
things,
we would have done, but maybe we would have done different. Also, I just, I feel not obligated, but just, I just do want to iterate again. Well, the thing with Jobless Reincarnation, it's not that they didn't do the poly thing; it's they skipped all of it.
mm,
Like the three still end up as a poly couple. It's just they skip it
do
and
they?
barely go into it. It's
Do
a
they?
throwaway line. Yeah, it's a throwaway line because remember when the dad goes, "Well, it's still okay with her," so and then Rudy's like, "I don't know, mom might not be okay with that," but you see them, and
They live
it's
together,
still
but
like
it really does not feel like it's a polyamorous couple. It feels like it's a
because
forced situation, and now it's a joint family.
they skip over all the development and leading up to it.
Yeah.
Like it's still there, but it's barely there. So I get where you're coming from, but yeah. But let's talk about our hindsight awards. Now, for me, I remember why my reasoning for this. I would have locked Kimono Jihen instead of what do you call it? Instead of sells at work code black because while Kimono Jihen is still mostly in the realm of what I would consider like what I consider bad, not bad shonen, but like
Again, me
it
try
unlike
to keep down the whatever is making the clicky sound or the slappy sound.
I don't know what's making it. Might be a loose cord.
Might be
I'll
the
try.
chair.
I'll, I'll try to fix with. I'm laying in my bed.
Weird.
I'll I'll try to futz with the cord, but it's kind of like Demon Slayer, except I wouldn't say it's as good as Demon Slayer. It's in that realm where it's a mixture of both bad shonen and good shonen. Like it does a lot of the shonen tropes poorly, like most shonen do, and does a lot of, but it also does some shonen tropes well. Like I was actually really down with the formula of yeah, no, let's establish the side characters and get through their backstories before we go to the main character, and the actual story itself is more goal driven with the main character wanting to learn about his family, which I enjoy rather being something like Fire Force, where the world is gonna end, fight evil thing, but your backstory is involved with evil thing.
Is there someone doing dishes?
No, hold on.
And in the meantime, I'm gonna start vamping a little bit about Gilly's runner-up because it doesn't exist. But Gilly's actual like his runner-up for the Hindsight Award does he didn't really have one. However, his winner for the Hindsight Award was he
I'm
would
back.
oh okay welcome back. He would have found more time to watch So I'm a Spider. So what? Which
That's a lie.
that's what he says right there. Gilly winner would have
Oh,
no, not for you, not for you. For Gilly, he would
okay.
have
I thought you
found
were saying my winner.
no. Gilly would have wished he would have found more time to watch Spider because in my recaps you could find them if we go back to our winter season. I kind of kept up with it a little bit post, and I still have kept up with it, and I'll get to my takes on it in a bit. But it just sounded like it continued being fun, and Gilly was intrigued by the show's progress, I guess you could say, momentum. I don't know. Splatter's a weird one, but it's a fun one. But yeah, Meep, what do you have to say about your runner up?
My runner-up. Oh, what? Wait,
Not
didn't I
runner up.
already
My
say my
bad.
runner-up?
Sorry. Yeah, I'm bad at this. Your winner.
Okay, my winner. I would have given Dungeon Boonies one more episode just to see how that whole plot line paid off and played out. Because even you see during the current season, I've been very much with Vivi. Like I want to reserve judgment until the payoff, and I very much wasn't willing to do that with Boonies for our own reasons. But I should have, in all fairness, given it another episode. And also, I wanted to see if it got better, but I ended up killing it, and it ended up dying on the wheel.
I mean, it was a bad episode.
Yeah, much like with uh, if you watch our latest stream, one of the shows, it just straight up had a bad episode. Like not much redeeming about it. Like I thought the meow thing was kind of funny, but it wasn't funny like the whole small misfortunes in the first episode.
Fair enough. Anyway,
Yeah, no. What
that's
were your hindsight awards?
well for my runner up. I had that in hindsight I gave Cells at Work Code Black more chances than I should have. Uh, like even now looking back, I just there are things about this show that just like ticked me off. Like fucking evil Mario and Luigi, these fucking the fucking magenta haired and green haired red cells that were just absolute bastards. Just the fact that we never really got anything satisfying out of like the combats or fight scenes, and that we introduced previously viewed uh cells like previously introduced cells from the main series from the original series and we just brushed over them. Like I get it, you're a spin-off, but like there are people watching this who could have never watched the original one, and I was really just constantly left wanting more and hoping I'd get it. I was voting fuck because I was out of a hope of getting what I wanted or more of what I would have enjoyed, but I just didn't, and I held out on this show longer than I should have.
Yeah, I definitely do think I enjoyed it as much as I did because I watched the original first. This is definitely a show I'd say watch the original first before you go into this one.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. That maybe could have made it more, but honestly, at the end of the day, the show lost me for the same reasons that the original lost me, and that is because I found that it wasn't doing enough with its content. I didn't find it imaginative or engaging. But that's me. And but that boy howdy, that sure sounds like the winner of my hindsight award. But in fact, it's not, because the winner for me is also watching more. So I'm a Spider. So what? I actually regret voting off the show. Period, because I continued watching the series. I'm actually watching season 2 right now. I'm not up to date, but man, there's just something about this show that I find enjoyable, and I know it is the Spider because the god, boy, do the side characters not captivate me. Shit starts getting fucking wild out of nowhere for the side characters, and it's interesting in the terms of like drama, but it's also like, why is this happening? Why do I care? And honestly, this is your fault for the decisions you've made in season 1. And Spider continues to be super fascinating, and like the whole overarching plot about like the world they're in, the administrators, the fact that things are happening at different time points, and the demon lord's relation to the spider, and etc etc, like that shit's fucking interesting to me, man. So at the end of the day, I in hindsight, if I knew that this show was going to continue being this good, I would have never voted it off. But that's why hindsight is 2020.
When you were saying, and that's your fault, I thought you were telling me it was my fault that you weren't enjoying the side characters. Like, what do you mean?
Huh? What do you mean?
Because you were talking about the season one, you're like, hey, that's your fault for what you did in season one. I was like, oh,
Oh
for a
heavens,
second there,
no, 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 no. I meant
I thought you
it's
were saying it was my fault.
no, no, no. I'm saying in season 1 for Spider, like it's the characters' decisions. It's their own fault. They did it to themselves.
Alrighty, that is our hindsights. Let's move on to best surprise. I'll start off. So the I only really had two I could have put in this category, and the reason they are in order is just because for one of them I had expectations. My runner-up was Skate the Infinity, and it ended up in my runner-up because I actually had expectations for it, knowing that Studio Bones did it. Studio Bones being studio that made Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, My Hero Academia, and so many other like well recognized and famous anime. I had expectations for it, but it still exceeded them in being dumb fun. And as for my winner, Horimiya, I was fully expecting like because I was enjoying it at the start, but I was fully expecting to be like, yeah, no, I've got what I want out of it. I'm gonna kill it like halfway through, but no, I was loving it all the way through. Like, I think it was around episode 4 or 5, like when they confessed to each other, that I started to really get on board. Like, it was just so sweet, so cute, and its show had so many genuinely great things about it. And as an adaptation that adapted over 120 chapters into 13 episodes, it was surprisingly well done. And I definitely much prefer that because Horimiya is very much a very episodic. Like, there's character development and everything, but it's also very episodic in a way. But yeah, I think it was a good way to do it. And if there's going to be any show that ends up being an advertisement for its manga, this one was a good one.
God damn, I miss Horimiya. Do you remember Gilly's takes on the best surprise?
I remember Idly Pride just because
Okay, good.
he
I don't
did.
remember why he chose Idly Pride.
I remember Idly Pride just because he actually, for the first few episodes, he was expecting to hate it, but he actually ended up enjoying himself.
Okay.
And As for Skate the Infinity, it just blew his expectations out of the water. That was his favorite show that season.
Yeah, Skate the Infinity. That was his baby. He absolutely loved that show to death and back. Oh god, that is a terrible still for me to use. Oh no.
Dal
Uh
trying to get them panty shots.
no, it's the one where they're all about to jump on Long after he won, but it's I just realized how fucking terribly everyone is drawn. My
Has,
god.
hasn't that hasn't that mobile game come out already?
The Idly Bright, I don't know, I haven't kept up with it. Why don't you check it while I go over my runner-ups? So it's best surprise, right? And we always think about surprises as being a good thing and like, oh, surprise, dude. But like sometimes you get surprised by how fucked up something is, and it's just a bad time. Like, fuck, I didn't see this. Like, I can't. I am just shocked at how terrible this is. And no show ever can I say that about, at least on this series, than fucking X Arm. Holy shit, this show is hot garbage. What the fuck? How was this released? And how did this have the audacity to say that it is declaring war on all 3D anime? I actually said anime unironically. Goddamn, anime. Like,
I I just why did they censor the kiss? It's not even the most ecchi the show gets. There's literally an episode where they have to or not episode, a chapter where they have to fuck a maid to save a man's life. Why did they censor the kiss of all things? Huh.
it's the censored CG lesbian kiss is the most indicative photo I could have. The most indicative screenshot of this show. It's bad. It's bad. It's ashamed of its own. Like it treats its own like source content as like there's something wrong with it. It's hyper censored. The story is inconsistent. The decisions are like a bad Saturday, like the action and the decisions made in the show is like that of a bad Saturday morning cartoon, and that all falls completely by the wayside due to falls completely by the wayside when compared to how but ugly this fucking show is. Listen, I said this before, so I'll say it again because it's been a while. Like, I am sorry to be digging into this show. There has to be a story here as to how fucking bad this show is. And I am sorry if what happened was you were given, like, a small team was given this colossal task of making this in a very short amount of time. If this is your first project that you've ever worked on, I'm sorry, but like to be so harsh on it. Like I really don't like raging or just being like just really shitting on something. But at the end of the day, and like with this season almost a whole season behind, like I have no fond memories with X Arm that are genuine. They're all ironic. Like Death to Reality, fucking that scene with the helicopter in the I think the second episode where they're like, "Oh, he's escaped. How is he gonna go? By road, underground?" And I'm like, "No, in the sky, by helicopter." Ah, by helicopter. I audibly went, "I was kidding." Like this show's
I
so bad.
I actually have a theory as to what happened with it, because I was gonna make the joke like, yeah, no, remember how this used to be my lock 2 seasons in a row, but then I got to thinking, no, this was supposed to come out in fall originally. Why did it get delayed? In no universe should this, I point to the screenshot, have been delayed. Did it get changed mid production? Did they go, no, let's make it a 3D anime instead? Because the cover art is good. The cover
Yeah,
art is good.
it could be.
I like, was it picked up by Crunchyroll instead? Like, was the studio that was originally making it not able to do it, so Crunchyroll picked it up and turned it into this? I like that could be possible, because I remember in fall I almost locked it, but then I went, nah, Adachi and Shimamura, I want a good romance, and hey, I got a good romance. And then in winter I was like, Code Black, I want my jump, I want my I want my junk food, and Code Black did give me white junk cell booby bud junk food.
Oh yeah. What's the term? Cheesecake?
Yeah, cheesecake.
Yeah,
Although,
white blood cells
oh,
are Code Black knew what they were doing with their white blood cells. 100%.
I I am so sad that we couldn't have watched quintessential quintuplets in winter because I've been talking about the show a lot lately, but its second season actually did come out in winter. Funny enough.
Mm. Well, I guess you can save that for your hindsight award this time. Uh
No. My hindsight word this time might involve my choice that we did last stream.
Regardless, as for my winner, let's see. Oh, wait, hold on. Best surprise? Yes. Okay, and I remember this catching everyone off guard, because you know what? I'm just gonna jump right into it. My winner for best surprise was Jobless Reincarnation. And for I mean, the show is surprising. I'll give it that. Like, the amount of lewd in the show, it catches me off guard. Like, just via hentai. Like from the sex scenes between Rudy's mom and dad, to Rudy himself being a degenerate pervert, uh, and
Rox,
Roxy masturbating outside the door of his parents having sex, like all those things, and like it continues. Like the thing is though, this show sometimes explores sexuality genuinely and sometimes explores sexuality pervertedly, and it's a shame because I think this would have had a lot of good content if it had just kind of not, like, I can't judge the show for what it didn't do, right? Because at the end of the day, this show is about this fucking 30-year-old something neat who is this like degenerated pervert, and his like room is covered in like masturbation tissues and garbage and food. Like, it's disgusting. Like, this person is a terrible human being. But we'll get to that. The thing about the show that surprised me the most is just how drop dead fucking gorgeous it was. I mean, why? Like, just look at this screenshot. It is beautiful. Its environments were gorgeous. Its characters were drawn. The overall animation for the show is like fantastic. And it goes from like these fantasy forests and plains to these like arid deserts and cities and castle towns. This show is visually stunning. And if you were to tell me like, hey, check out this show about this like degenerate pervert who gets isekai'd into a young 10-year-old boy's body, I would have been like, and then if you told like, oh, but you don't understand, the show is drawn incredibly, I would have been like sus. But by all means, goddamn, did this show just blow me away with its visuals, and I have to give it like, I was not expecting it at all, and goddamn it all if it didn't just work. God damn, did it work?
all right. Let's move on to most disappointing. For me, my runner-up was Wonder Egg Priority.
How fucking dare you?
I listen. It was While its first episode was not what I expected, I still actually really enjoyed the first episode. As much as I harped on the way it handled its marketing, I really enjoyed the first episode. Second episode started to lose me. Third episode completely dropped me off with those girls with the glow sticks, and it's just, I get it's objectively well made. I get it has all these really good themes and messages, but there have been so many shows, and this is why I love Wit Studio. They portray those kinds of themes and messages, but also they have a lot more of entertainment value to their stories. I know you loved the fights in Wonder Egg. I actually didn't get much out of them, and like I just
Oh,
I've
I loved everything about Wonder Egg Priority. Like, as a resident Wonder Egg Priorities like defender, not even apologist because I don't think there's anything to apologize for. I will agree. That episode was certainly the weakest. Even the second part to that episode was far better than the first part. But my God, yeah, that was. I've watched the whole series, waiting for the special finale to come out in June on June 30th. But that that episode was without a doubt the weakest episode of the series.
Yeah, and for me specifically, I recognize it's well made and its themes and messages are good and it portrays them well, but to get me to care about the characters and what's happening, the show has to give me a little bit to glom on to. And I actually didn't really get that with Wonder Egg. Like something like Vinland Saga, it gives me good fights, some fun, interesting characters, and it gives you like a lot. And it still has like these really interesting themes and messages. That's an analogy for fatherhood, and it handles like the revenge story in the best way I can possibly imagine. Like, and even Ancient Magus, which is it's exploring the relationship between a dom and a sub, is fantastic, and it has interesting plots and twists. They're not twists, but like plots and just beautiful backgrounds. And I don't know. I felt like there was something missing with Wonder Egg for me, like because I was never entertained when I was watching it, and I don't know. That's just me. Like, again, I'm not gonna harp on anyone for enjoying it. It's just
I
I didn't
I
really, and that's
cannot disagree with
basically
you
how it was.
more. Except I cannot disagree with you more. Except I completely understand that uh the show's not for everyone. One direct priority. Also, hello Raiders. Thank you very much, Final Traumatic, for the raid. I understand that One Direct Priority is an extremely like volatilely intimate, personal, and uh emotionally and mentally sensitive show. They they explore extremely sensitive and I mean there's no like dark themes. Like it explores some of the darkest parts of mental health, and the introduction and exposition of Frill is heart wrenching, but the show isn't doing it to be bad. But you know what? I realize that I'm going into a Wonder Egg priority rant, and that's not what this stream is about. That's not what this segment is about. I understand why it's not for you. So let's instead talk about uh, your number one, your winner of your most disappointing award for the winter 2021 season.
Fucking Dungeon Boonies. Episode 1, super goddamn strong. Episode 2, not strong. It was okay. Like it just kept up basically what episode 1 was doing. Episode 3 kept up what episode 2 was doing, but had 3 plot twists in 5 minutes. Some really just not good, bad. They were just bad jokes. The whole "you have the banana, I have the chocolate," like fucking episode 3 was just horrible, and episode 1 had one of my best laughs of that season, and it was so disappointing. The show was so disappointing.
And you got the banana.
And going over Gilly's will be easy. He didn't have a runner up, and his was Dungeon Boonies.
Yeah,
His winner was Dungeon Boonies for the exact same reason.
for the exact same fucking reason with the fucking oh wait, hold on, I don't know, I might have been muted for that. For the exact same fucking reason as you. As me too. Like, man, I honestly, I rolled my eyes and got over Dungeon Booney's egregious perversion. Because to me, Dungeon Boonies was just another fantasy anime that wanted to play both plot and comedy and really did not know how to balance it out, which is a shame because like Dungeon Boonies, I really like their character design. Uh, young Breath of the Wild Link looking motherfucker Lloyd. Loved how he looked. And I found the animation overall to be charming and the characters to be enjoyable. But when you have this like inconsistent plot, this uh like three great reveals in like the span of like two-thirds of one episode, and just this unnecessary perversion and like a lack of a sense of progression, and like the same joke being done over and over again with like the cricket monster. They couldn't even like use a different cricket, as well as Lloyd constantly being like, "Oh, I'm nothing too special." It just wore off. It bored me. But that doesn't work as most disappointing for me. For me, uh, oh man, really? I I'm looking at my own choices and I'm
I
like, I'm surprised.
I I remember your reasoning. Do you want me to do you want me to go over yours? Because I remember the reasoning for both of them.
Uh, yeah, why don't you play me in why I picked Skate the Infinity as my runner-up to most disappointing show of
The ending.
yeah,
The ending, how they treated Mia, how they treated Shadow.
yeah.
Just the final 5 episodes really as a whole were why it also Adam's quote unquote redemption, the whole snake plot line, red haired lady plot line, all of it was just it really it was not well handled.
It really was not. And it's a shame too, because the show was really good. Like, Skate isn't an enjoyable show, and I will still recommend everyone watching these dumbass skater boys. And like the emotional scenes between Langa and Reiki were genuinely good. The tensions with each introduction was genuinely good. But Meep, that's exactly right. I also like the ending of the final episode was really good, with them like looking and like having all this food and the party, but Adam getting off scot lickety free with all the shit that he's done, hospitalizing people, making people get out of like just lose get out of this hobby, fucking fucking up Langa's and Reiki's relationship, being overall creepy, fucking with Mia, fucking with Cherry. Like, he almost fucking killed Cherry, and he tried to kill like people before. It's like all of this shit that he's done, and he just gets to walk away and be powerful and reestablish his dominant and submissive relationship with Snake, which was weird, but like I'm not against it. It just came out of fucking nowhere. And the way that they treated fucking Shadow and Mia and then Joe and Cherry, and just how unjust they were with their side characters, gave it the runner-up spot for me in terms of I mean, it's just a fucking huge disappointment, man. It's a show that had such fun with its characters. It sucked to see them become completely irrelevant. However,
This
hmm?
Listen, I'm bound to get my comeuppance sometime this season. I'm waiting for my favorite show of our current season just break me. I'm bound to get mine sometime.
Yeah, yeah. But honestly, my winner of most disappointing for winter 2021 is Jobless Reincarnation. Because while I sang its praises about how absolutely gorgeous the show was, and my god, did it do fantasy well, from its magic to its city planning and world building, and it just did so much good, and I really, 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 really just want to love this show. I just fucking can't because of this little shit. He does not have enough progression. Its fan base is constantly talking about how they want to see the 10-year-old boy fuck the 15-year-old cousin, and like the show does not treat his behavior as much of a problem as it should. In fact, it says, yeah, this is weird, but what if it actually worked out for him? And honestly, the last third of the season, or the last quarter of the season, is actually fantastic. They get put into this dire situation where he doesn't get to be a pervert anymore. He has to think about surviving. And the bratty character is constantly coming to terms with the fact that like she is not a like she doesn't have all her uh entitlements and privileges anymore, and she has to really deal with shit. And they also deal with like race situations and like cultures and like how things and like how historical revisionism. And it's so good. And if only the whole show could be so good as it was here. Honestly, Jobless Reincarnation is a massive disappointment to me just because with how incredible its content is and how terribly tarnished it is by its main character and just incessance upon like just being sexually creepy. And like it's
Yeah.
just it's sometimes it just feels like it's glamorizing degeneracy, and I can't get behind that.
Well, that is our most disappointing. Let's go over our best first impressions. For me, my runner-up, it was Horimiya. It was it had a really good it had a pretty good first impression on me. So, okay, Jujutsu Kaisen I didn't count for this award because it was obviously we've already had our first impressions with Jujutsu Kaisen. You know, so it didn't really count for this. So it was between Horimiya and Skate. Horimiya had had some good first three episodes, but they weren't they weren't like nines like I'd say the rest of the show is. But it was still a good first impression, so that's why it ended up being my runner up. But my best first impression, the winner, Skate to Infinity. It was. I remember I loved the first three episodes. I was down and on board. And the first, when I actually started to fall off was after the beach episode. That was when I was kind of like, yeah, no, I'm at about like a 7.5 with this. And it didn't come back up to an 8 until the final episode because while I had my problems with the final episode, I finally got some good skating, which is what I wanted out of the show. Like, really, none of the skating after the beach episode was good until the final one. Like, even Longa versus Joe didn't blow me away.
That was
Longa,
also like
or
underwhelming,
no,
yeah.
oh, wait, no, there was Reiki versus Adam. That one was really good. I really enjoyed that one too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it was those two episodes that really did it for me. That brought it back up to an 8 for me. Yeah, that was my best first impression. And as for Gilly's winner, it was also Skate to Infinity for basically the same reason. It was just really good overall, first three episodes.
And ironically, or coincidentally, I guess I should say, Gillies also did not have a runner-up for this one, but his best first impression was also Skate, because that episode is legitimately good. Like, it as a first impression, I don't think its motifs followed through as much as I personally wanted it through. Like everyone has their reason for skating because it kind of made everyone not matter at the end. But uh I really just think that setting the tone, the spirit, the excitement around skating, the hobby, the personal investment, it did a really good job at that. Plus, we introduced Reiki, and we had some really beautiful shots of skating, and we just knew that we're going to be in for a good ride. Do you remember anything that
Well,
else Gilly said about it?
uh not really. I remember when he was talking about it, he didn't go into too much detail, just essentially what you said, yeah. Uh but Dal, what was your runner up?
Uh, my runner-up was also Skate the Infinity. uh, with no surprise, the Skate to Infinity was a really good show. I found its ending episodes and its latter half to be disappointing in the way it's treated its characters because they really were good and endearing characters. The first episode sets up this great motif of just like skating is fun, but skating is also S. Sets up the dynamics. It sets up the fact that we're going to be like seeing some really good choreography in terms of skateboarding, and it's just really good to just see them kind of setting up but it's going to be just people having a good time. And it's ultimately comes down to people having a good time. I kind of wish we explored more of the different characters' reasons for skating, especially Cherry and Joe. But the show is what it is. And in terms of the first episode, I remember how excited I was coming into our first episode of the winter season and just really to talk about this show and be like, oh my god, this is going to be so good. Oh, Gilly, good job on the lock. Uh, but even more so than that, and a first impression can be excitement, but I think a good show can build excitement. A great show can leave you utterly speechless. And we've had some really good shows on this season. We've had some really good shows this season, like on the real. But the first episode of One Direct Priority, my god, a show has not made me feel the way One Direct Priority has in a very long time. Both from our conceptions of storytelling and like the fact that I know Meep, you're really against it, but like just the way that it pulled a fast one where though we're getting this slice of life about girls, but it came out to be this extremely intimate exploration of one's traumas and insecurities, to how visually stunning the show is, how absolutely gorgeous, like movie level gorgeous this show is. Uh I cannot sing its praises enough in a short breath, so I'm going to try my best. I was shook. I made the mistake of watching this show before going to sleep. Like, I'm like, I'll watch another episode of anime before I go to bed. Holy fuck, bro. I stayed up for 2 or 3 hours after that. Like I think I watched at like 11 or 12, and I stayed up until like 2, 3, maybe even 4, just like trying to talk to people about it because it made my mind race. I was like, what is this show? What is it going to be? Is this going like it? Oh my god, we're really doing this. We're really talking about suicide. We're talking about personal insecurities, and traumas, and like dysfunctional traumatizations. Holy shit, where's the show gonna go? How is this going to handle everything? Like, is this going to do well? And what are these fantastical magical girl fights? What is this going to be? And no show has left as strong of a as powerful of a excuse me, had to swallow, as powerful of a first impression as One Direct Priority did for me. And by gods, I love this show. I love this show so much. It's brilliant. But I can't fully say it with like 100% confidence because, man, oh man, it all comes down to the finale. We have to see where it ends. Not because how the story ends, but how they're going to tie up their narrative, how they're going to tie up their metaphor and abstract, because it could still fall down at the very end. Regardless, oh boy, if like when it comes to first impressions, One Direct Priority still has the most strongest resonating, like, ooh, just remembering how I felt that night, just ooh, shooketh indeed, chat, shooketh indeed.
Well, with that, I believe that is our best first impressions, and let's do best laugh now.
Yeah, we did have some good laughs this season, that winter season, man.
Oh yeah. My runner-up for best laugh, I remember this was the first episode of this season I watched, the first show, Dungeon Boonies, and it got such a hearty laugh out of me when Belt Princess slammed Mercenary into the wall just to talk to Lloyd, just slammed her into the wall, and you just see this crater impact. I remember I busted a gut laughing. And there wasn't many times where I remember outright like haha, like laughing out loud. Like I remember with Horimiya I got chuckles here and there, but there was that time where I got hearty laugh, and the second time, which was my best laugh, with Sukuna forcing Itadori to eat the finger when Itadori went to pick it up just because of the timing, how it went, and everyone getting mad at Itadori. I watched that episode with my roommate at the time, and we were fucking dying laughing. We were busting a gut, both of us just laughing. We had to pause the episode because we were laughing for like 5 minutes over it. It was fucking hilarious to us.
Yeah, Dungeon Boonies had some genuinely endearing things, but and honestly, the jokes worked the first time, second time, and even sometimes the third. But on the fourth, fifth, and sixth, it's just, mm.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about Gillies.
Well, what about your winner?
I said my winner, Sukuna eating the finger.
Oh, I was busy thinking about I was busy thinking about boonies. Let me see. Where's my Jujutsu Kaisen tab? There it is, up top. Do we have a screenshot for Sukuna eating the fingy? You
I
talking
don't think
about?
we did, no.
Yeah, you're talking about that scene where they beat the brothers, the Cursed Womb, which oh my god, what a fucking story. The Cursed Womb brothers, and Sukuna just has Itadori eat the finger from Fushiguro like as if it was nothing.
Yeah, it was just he went to go pick up fingers like he's like, no, give it to Gojo. We don't know what's gonna happen if you eat another one. He's like, all right, I'm not a fucking idiot. Oh.
Yeah, and then Sukuna just
He's like,
comes out of Itadori's hand and just eats the finger as he's reaching for it.
he hadn't done anything all season. That was his contribution to the season, and it was fantastic. Like, and then after that, we had the great scene of him like telling Itadori, like, these people died because of you. It's your fault. And character development for Itadori was great, but we'll get into that later.
Fair enough.
But yeah, that was. Oh, I said
No, fair enough. Fair
character
enough.
development for Itadori. Okay. And let's go over Gilly's. Gilly's runner-up was Egg Time from Horimiya, just because he found it be comedic.
It's really good. It's episode one.
Yeah.
You see this. It's Harumi is one of those shows that's like I don't understand why I don't understand why like anime's been doing this like absolutely like drop dead gorgeous pretty boy as this social outcast and black sheep of the group. But it kind of shows how uh anxious simultaneously anxious and like dedicated Miyamura is. And it's just a funny time where it's like, where you going? Sorry, egg time.
Uh, and then I forget her Yuki, that's her name. Then the anxious being Yuki just sees him and she's all flustered. It was a
Yeah,
good scene.
she sees him jump over to the fucking like he's put out his hair and he took off his glasses and like undid his tie and he's like he looks amazing and he just jumps over a fence trying to get these eggs and poor Hori and Yuki sees it and she like just left standing there being like what the fuck.
And Gilly's winner was also from Horimiya, the "What took you so long?" slap.
Yeah,
When, to give a little bit of background information, Hori in Horimiya is a masochist. She likes being slapped, and she wanted Miyamura to be rough with her, so he was. So in public, when Miyamura's bully and two other people are watching, Hori comes back from the convenience store and she's like, "I got you this." He's like, "What took you so long?" and slaps her because she likes it. And everyone just looked at him like, "What? Did we just fucking see that? What? Should we tell somebody?" Just that fucking scene.
the joke is made even better by yes, Hori is a masochist and she likes to be she has a degradation kink. Uh and as well as a physical impact kink. However, the joke lands even further because in a previous scene, the bullies were harassing Miyamura, and Hori is the one to stand up for him. She's the one who like got in their faces and told them to fuck off. And she's Hori has a temper, and she can get really tough when she wants to. and they got intimidated by her and they ran away. And they see Miyamura there and they're like thinking about fucking with him. And then they see Hori come out and they're like, oh shit, like we better not mess with him because then she will come after us again. And she walks up to him and goes like, oh, I'm sorry, I took long. It's like, and then he slaps her and they go, what the fuck is happening? Who is Miyamura? Oh, it's funny. It's funny.
Yeah.
It's
What
it's
were your laughs though?
yeah, no, that was a good scene. Um, Honestly, I love how much this flows because like my runner up for best laugh is just Horimiya in its entirety because sorry chat, I could not choose because there are just so many good moments in this show of just genuine laughs. Not forced comedy, not over the top comedy, but sometimes it did it very well. It's contextual comedy, it did very well, visual comedy in terms of like reactions and silly faces. The voice acting was phenomenal, just really great to see people like the voice actors to like really emote and have fun in the booth and really drive the jokes home. I could not choose, so I had to just give it to Horimiya in its entirety. It's well, we won't. I want to keep talking about the show, but I also understand that like I have to keep time and pacing because this is another show that I could sing its praises for an hour, if not more. But if you guys are looking for like a great just romance, slice of life, school life, and just a show that really understands and treats its characters with respect, and if you ever are curious as a writer for either dungeon like DMing, like tabletop RPGs, or just writing stories yourself, and you want to see how to use a full cast of 15 plus characters and then have each character relate to one another in some form or way, this is a great example of that.
Hey, hey, this passion you have for Wonder Egg and Horimiya, that's like my passion with Vivi.
I know, I know. This is why I only tease you a little bit. But yes, um, my winner, however, for best laugh of the winter anime season of 2021. Uh Honestly, Horimiya has so many for me to pick from, but nothing has made me laugh more than fucking Archangel Langa in Skate the Infinity when Langa skates against Adam for the first time, does a kickflip, and just becomes this glistening archangel in this like Renaissance painting mural on a ceiling of some chapel complete with god rays and widespread wings. It's incredible. Skate, you silly fuck. I love you.
Well, do you want to take a break before we move on to Unanimous Awards, or are you good? Because
Yeah,
I don't have to.
I think
I
this
don't
is a
have
good
any.
point. I think this is a good point for us to take a break. I myself could run to
Okay.
the bathroom, and but before I do that, really quick, Chill Phantom X, thank you so much for the follow, and Final Traumatic, homie, thank you so much for the raid. It's good to see you guys. I hope you're all having fun. Feel free to jump down in the comments and ask us any questions you might have, any about the winter season. Just so everyone knows, the shows we covered during the winter season were Jujutsu Kaisen, Season 1, Part 2, which I still stay, this should have been adamant that this just make it Season 2. Fuck off. Cells at Work, Code Black, Skate the Infinity, Wonder Egg Priority, X-Arm, Soulma Spider So What, Jobless Reincarnation, Dungeons Boonies, or What If a Kid from a Boonies Town, from a Dungeon Boonies Town moved, or something, I don't remember the full name, sorry. Meep, you can get that for them. Idly Pride, and Horimiya. Yeah, if you guys have any questions about anything that you've
Also,
heard thus far, feel free to ask us, and yeah, what's up?
also, Dal, you're so against like it being a second core. It is one season. It's just a 24 episode season. There's just one half and a second half. Just like how Skate the Infinity has one half and a second half. It's just their half is only 6 episodes.
No, no, no. Just if you're going to make a 24 season and you're not going to divide it between times, just I mean, I get it. I guess that's why they didn't say season, because it went from the fall into the winter season. It's just
Yeah, it being another season implies especially for shonen, implies at least a year's break.
Anyway, I'll be right back.
Alrighty. And now for the unanimous awards. For our first category, it was Best Main Character. Nominated, we had Itadori, Langa, Reiki, Miyamura, and Kumiko from Ichidori, obviously from Jujutsu Kaisen, Langa from Skate B Infinity, Reiki from Skate B Infinity, Miyamura from Horimiya, and Kumiko from Soma Spider So What. So let's go over why each of these characters are nominated so far. Ichidori is a fantastic. I think he's a fantastic protagonist. He got a lot of development throughout the first half of the season, and even got some in the second half. Though in the second half, he wasn't there as much, and when he was mostly bouncing off of another character like Toto.
Indeed.
And that ultimately led to him not winning in the category, but it's fair. He he definitely wasn't as prevalent as he was in the first half. So
Prevalent.
I was, yeah. Well, he was still my personal favorite on the list. I conceded because, yeah, judging it by its core alone, it was I had to concede.
Makes sense. Yeah, like
Now,
don't get me wrong, like Miyamura, Itadori is a fantastic character, and but the show shines despite Itadori, and like you just said, Meep is just echoing our thoughts, our collective thoughts and discussions from the season, which just like the side characters kind of took the stage more, and that's great. It just also means that Itadori had to step away and not exactly the best main character that we've had this season.
what they did with Panda was fantastic. Panda is not a panda. He is also monkey.
Think, Mikamaru, think! Panda is not a panda!
And as far as Longa and Reiki went, that was the biggest discussion we went into with this award. Though I remember we were talking, not in circles, but like we were talking for a while about whether or not Longa or Reiki should be on the list, because we wanted to put one of them in the top spot, but we didn't want to put the other in the runner up because they do shine on their best together. Although the thing is with Reiki, when they split up, Reiki still shined because he was getting character development, and as contradictory to popular belief, character regression also counts as development. It's just developing negatively.
Yeah,
And
I mean, it's also was
okay,
like a
wait, no,
moment
that's not the
for
wrong word.
Reiki.
Yeah,
Longa was kind of the one we saw develop the most over the series, and then that was the chapter to see Reiki, for Reiki to kind of come into his own and develop and kind of have the focus back onto him. The thing is, though, it kind of came down to Reiki and Longa both being the main characters of Skate, and we ultimately could not choose one over the other.
yeah, and my bad. Regression was the wrong word because character regression does exist. It's when you have a character develop, but then they regress to what they were before for no reason. Sorry. Developing negatively is still character development because you're still developing, and there are still reasons why they developed that way. It's not for the better, it's for the worse, which can also be interesting. One could possibly consider Itadori's character development in the first half developing negatively because he goes from wanting to save everyone to, no, death is going to be inevitable and I want to kill this guy. It's, although that's just matter of perspective, but yeah, with Longa and Reiki, it was very much, it came down to Reiki shined more on his own than Longa shined on his own, and that's also echoed by Longa feeling like something was missing from his life when Reiki wasn't there, because Longa shines at his best when he's having fun with someone else. That's why he quit snowboarding, and that's why he wasn't having fun with skating anymore.
I mean, Longa
And
shines
Reiki,
plenty. He straight up shines like an archangel in the sky. But Reiki also, like, once he started feeling alone, once he started experiencing that level of like loneliness and this detachment from like his hobby and the thing that he liked, he kind of started feeling like there was like a parallel between him and Longa. Like he understood, he kind of got to understand how Longa felt, and once he was left on his own, yes, his solo chapter, so to speak, was more interesting or more engaging than Langa's, but that's because that was the focus of the character arc, whereas the Langa situation was pretty much just context.
yeah, and that's what won Reiki the top spot because Reiki was our winner of best main character.
Yeah, at the end, it was a decision between Langa and Reiki. We had to give it to Reiki because despite Langa having the forefront and kind of like the screen time on him, Reiki had the most development and uh, a overall rounded like just character. We saw more depth from him than we did with Langa, even though we focused more on Langa overall. And picture Ricky. Also, I'm surprised you jumped straight to the winner and you didn't talk about our runner-up.
Well, I'm just more looking on the nominations going down the list because our next is Miyamura. Uh, so Miyamura was nominated, and he actually won the runner-up spot because of just how well handled he is. Because he goes from you see how anxious and how frankly depressed he is because he had no friends. He was a social outcast. He even pierced his own ears and got tattoos to try and be like try and fit that social outcast standard. Like, okay, if that's what they're going to make me into, then that's what I'll be. And he starts to develop and change through meeting Hori and his other friends. And we even well we a lot of chapters from the manga that deal with him and his personal feelings weren't like I've actually read a few of the chapters that never ended up animated, and he gets a lot. He gets a lot in those chapters. It's really good, but we still get to see him flourish in the anime. It's just not as much as I would have personally liked, but he does still get a lot. His development is natural. It's great. I frankly enjoyed him more than Hori, and I think we were pretty unanimous when we were talking about him as at least being on the list over Hori.
Yeah, no. Again, another situation where two characters are kind of uh in the front lines of the main cast, as the main cast of the show, but the show has focused on Miyamura. This is similarly how actually no, actually quite the opposite. Unlike with Skate the Infinity, Horimiya, while it does give Hori a lot of attention and character exposition and development, and just you get to see a lot of different parts of her, not once have we gotten such a deep and like intricate look, like insightful look into Hori's psyche and her feelings and experiences as we did with Miyamura. Miyamura had flashbacks that far exceeded any that Hori had. Miyamura had actual, literal, like existential moments when he's talking to his past self. And for a show that deals with characters and making sure that characters feel real and exploring the different anxieties and issues and inner workings and pleasures and thoughts inside them, Miyamura was a fantastically expounded upon character. You got to see so much of him from his past to his growth to his still traumas and anxieties in the situation. The laughs, the way he changes his personalities around people, the way he grew with people, and the way he really interacts with every other character. And he does interact with characters more so than Hori does. Like, it's never like, oh, I am like it's Miyamura and his girlfriend Hori. No, it's never like that kind of dynamic. But at the end, Miyamura does get more focus, attention, and screen time. It feels, and that just won him over the that just won over the argument between the two of them. However, that being said, uh, he got the number one spot because it's just great to see such an organic character, to see growth, to see expression, to see that nexus of dynamics with the rest of the cast. The jokes land with him, and he's honestly just he's an endearing fellow. You end up rooting for him because I'm sure a lot of people can relate to the experiences that are being told through this character. It's a good time.
Yeah, the staff that worked on Horimiya is they definitely put a lot of time and dedication into it, and I thank the staff for it. But do you want to go over why Kumiko was nominated?
Who?
Because I was actually Kumiko from the Spider,
Oh, Spider was nominated? Yeah. Spider was nominated because Spider is literally the only good thing about the show. Like,
which I remember. Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
out of all the fucking characters, Spider from Soma Spider So What is the thing that kept me and Gilly coming back and wanting to see more, and just all the other characters were. It's just, man, it was rough for season one. Also,
Well,
moving forward,
I remember.
let's go through the nominees and then get to the winners because that just makes it easier for slides. Because now we're talking about Kumiko while Miyamura is up.
So you want me to talk about like? So you want me to wait on the nominees that won,
Yeah,
or
yeah, 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 yeah.
okay? Well, let's move on
Congratulations.
to best supporting character.
So
Oh,
yeah, just to reiterate, Miyamura as our runner-up and Reiki as our winner of best main character for the Winter 2021 series.
yeah, let's. And for best supporting character nominated, we had Toto from Jujutsu Kaisen, Shadow from Skate the Infinity, Ishikawa from Horimiya, White Blood Cell from Cells at Work Code Black, and Momoe from Wonder Egg Priority. Let's start off with Shadow from Skate the Infinity.
He's such a
Boy,
good supporting character.
I he's not a disappointing character. It's disappointing how they used him.
Exactly.
He's such a fun character, fun presence on screen. He's a anti-hero, self-described anti-hero, and I I love him. He was so great from every moment we get to see him. It's just the show shits on him so much and it makes me feel so bad for him cuz he gets taken out of the race in such a bullshit way and uh him okay, so one of the things that he was doing was he was trying to, win over his manager's heart because he works at a flower shop and he has feelings for his manager. And in the ending credits, you see him in a tuxedo with roses, about to go to her manager, about to go to his manager, and you see his manager get picked up in a Ferrari by her boyfriend, and it's like it makes you feel bad because the show's already hurt him enough and it just keeps beating him down even though
Yeah.
he's such a fantastic character and that's ultimately why he didn't win one of the spots. It's just how misused he was at points.
Yeah, like he's obviously not entitled to his manager's time or attention, but at the same time, it's not about like him not getting the girl. It's about the show continuously just giving this guy the short end of the stick. Like he's like really tall, bulky, got like he's like balding on the side, so he kind of has this like little like beaker kind of like haircut. And just he's constantly called old even though he's around the same age as everyone else. Like he is the heel of the show and like the Yamcha of the show, and like the show kind of treats it as such. And like I get it's a joke, but like at the same time they gave him personality, they gave him agency, and they gave him like content, and it's as if writing him off to be like the pseudo narrator and like like he gets dealt a fate like Speedwagon in part two. Like he just becomes completely fucking irrelevant, and then the show continues to the point where the show just takes him fucking out by like literally taking a bat to his head. But
Yep.
we did like Shadow because we found him both funny because he contributes massively as comic relief, but he also contributes as like a character because he can be caring.
Yeah, he was definitely a fun character to have around, and uh, I'm so sad that we can't. I'm so sad of just how he was used,
Who's next?
and well, sorry. Ready. Next one, White Blood Cell. Now, this was one that I wanted to nominate just because I wanted to give her due. And this was also partially me having finished the show and seeing how she developed. And I really enjoyed her character. She's stoic, but it's not like, oh, I'm unfeeling. It's no, she's stoic so that others around her don't panic. She's strong so that others around her can be strong. She lifts others up, but at times she also needs to be lifted up. And that's why her and Red Blood Cell make such a cute couple to me is they both lift each other up when they're down. Like when Red Blood Cell's at his worst after his friend dies, she does give him a hug and talks to him about it when no one else was able to because everyone was busy working, but she gets through to him by talking to him and reassuring him that it wasn't his fault and that he has to continue on so that his friend didn't die for nothing. And you also get glimpses of her character, how she's been broken and battered by everything happening, but she doesn't want any of her friends that have died to have died for nothing. And it's a genuinely sweet and caring moment, and it kind of makes like and when you get to see the body actually clean itself up after the heart attack, it's so nice to see. And it kind of gets ruined by them getting transferred a blood transfusion to a body that's even worse. It's like, no, we had the perfect ending, we don't need to continue this. Why? Well, I understand why. It's there's more conditions you can explore. Like there's more like not heart conditions, but like there's more.
Health conditions. Plus,
Yeah.
now we have a fucking love triangle. Ooh. Yeah. Now, White Blood Cell is an interesting character. She, for me, was probably the most enjoyable thing about Code Black, and not just because of her designs. And like we said in the personal awards, like I said, the show, it knows what it's doing with its white blood cells in both regards, and its T cells. The show knows what it's doing. But yeah, it's great to see the quiet, stoic character, kind of the reserved character, grow and have this like positive progression where you see them trying to get stronger and also have agency in their world. But drag racers at 2:53 in the afternoon. Um, that's dangerous. Like I feel like you could hurt someone that way. Anyway, point is, uh, unfortunately the show just fails to give agency to it gives real agency or meaning to any of the actions since it's constantly just a miserable cycle, at least on my opinion. And unfortunately, compared to some of the other side characters we have in this in this season, White Blood Cell completely falls by the wayside. Good waifu,
Oh
but
yeah. Oh yeah, no, I just wanted to give her due. I didn't expect her to win. I honestly wouldn't have put her over our two winners.
mhm.
Although, do you want to talk about why you nominated Momoe?
Oh, like I said during our personal words, Momoe is a fantastic side character because it's just it's hard to choose because each person of the cast in One Direct Priority has has their own function and like meaning behind them. Like they all contribute something, not just like in a utilitarian way, but in a like expression of trauma and of personality types and of people. Momoe, in my opinion, is just the best one because I don't know. I found her the most likable. She tries hard for her friends. She's honest. She stands up for what she believes in. Um, Unlike Rika, who really buckles underneath her pressures and her traumas and starts taking it out on people and chooses like, well, if I'm gonna be a shitty person because my life is shitty, I who shuts down really hard whenever her problems re-arise. And by the way, each person, I'm not saying anyone is invalid of their actions, but I'm saying like, and Neru just like shuts the world away and focuses on her work and her research. But Momo is like the most engaging and the most lively. Still tries to get excited about stuff, and she's just adorable. And in her fights are some of the best in the series. Her weapon is really cool. If I had to pick one of the core four that are my favorite, Momoe is my favorite. Although I have enjoyed each of the girls in one direct priority because I think they're all equally important, complex, and just psychologically interesting and well designed.
Alrighty. Well, let's talk about the runner-up then. Toru Ishikawa from Horimiya.
Toru, good boy.
He's a good boy, and I if he just got a little bit more, if some more of the actual like romance stuff with him did get adapted into the anime, I he would have been so good. So much no, he was really good already, but he could have been so everything around him could have been so much better, and I really enjoy what we got. And I don't mean to be the oh the manga did it better guy, but man, it's just
Yeah, man.
it
This
sucks. It
show
sucks.
this show adapted how many chapters of manga into 12 episodes?
Over 120 into 13
Yeah, and
episodes.
it did it incredibly so. For an adaptation, I think this deserves legendary status and praise because holy shit, like it was nearly seamless. That being said, when that kind of stuff happens, of course, things are going to fall by the wayside, and in this case, that wayside is very much Toru and his relationship dynamics and his expressions.
Toru, the bully, green-haired boy, Yagi, like okay, green-haired boy, Yagi, and Toru, or not Toru, green-haired boy, Yagi, and the bully character. They act actually a lot more in the manga, but
I'm
because they were
sure.
introduced so late, because they were introduced so late into the anime, they didn't adapt as much stuff with them,
But
which
again, you're
was
comparing the show to what it isn't. And in the show itself, like what we got was really good. We got an incredible range of personality from Toru. He's a very, very good friend. And he's a complicated partner because of his own insecurities. And like he got involved with two of the like with two characters that also have their own very deep rooted like self-esteem and self-image issues.
well, Well, remember how jarring it was when we were talking about the episode where bully character was like, "Oh yeah, I was cuddling with Miyamura," and we were like, "Wait, what? Did we miss something?"
Yeah,
Like
that
that's what I mean. There are clear points where it feels like you've missed something. Like we made the joke, the green haired boy feels like he just exists to scream Toru off screen.
and then we got his incredible episode of like character development and his dynamic with his sister and family, and we were shown that he's actually much more thoughtful than he puts himself out to be in school. Like characters
Yeah,
got stuff, and that's also why I said. And to your first point about the the weird jarring bits, that's why I said near seamless because there are moments where it shows that they just had to skip stuff or cut stuff. But again, as an anime adaptation, this show did incredibly well, and Toru was just I would like to have Toru as a friend, and then I would like to support Toru as a friend while he supports me, because that's what it comes down to. He is a supportive person who, to a fault, is willing to sacrifice his own desires and happiness and agency to see the people around him be happy.
yeah. And to the complete opposite of Toru, let's go Toto, who is just a fun presence on screen. He truly was the Gojo of this season because Oh my god, he was always fun to be on screen. He had a fun power, a fun personality. The boogie woogie.
Everything about Toto was fantastic. The fucking over the top but never too fucking like super exaggerated but never like ridiculously over the top emotions and like expressions he's had. His fucking boogie woogie power, the his whole relationship with Itadori and being like my brother, best friendo. It's God, what a fantastic addition to the series, and what a complete turnaround from the character we were introduced in season one, in part one.
Without Gojo and without Toto, this show would nowhere be near as fun as it is. Like that's what I love. That's they are big parts of why I love Jujutsu Kaisen because they're just so fun. It's such a fun show and a fun experience to go through. They're fantastic. Toto feels like a JoJo's character in a way.
Yeah, he is ridiculously over the top, extremely buff, with this unflappable attitude. But it all works out because not only is the character fun to watch and he's entertaining, but in itself, Toto did a lot to facilitate Itadori's growth, Fushigiro's growth, and he's kind of like this gray character. He's both an anti-hero and an anti-villain. He's an anti-hero to our Tokyo friends, and he's like this anti-villain within the Kyoto school. He's creates a lot of animosity so that his ridiculous attitude never feels unchecked. Like the world does, like the crazy and ridiculous and obnoxious and arrogant things that Toto does and says doesn't just like he doesn't get idolized like a lot of people to a funny but also kind of saddening point dislike this guy in his own team. The baseball episode is the perfect example of that. But like he facilitated a training arc for our main character. He provided incredible combat. He is a senpai in the sense of like he knows more about combat and fighting and curses to like he's a mentor in a sense. But he's also a student in the story, so he also has his own like jovial funs. His whole shtick about being like just really simple and to the point with people goes in so many directions. Great fucking addition.
And he has a lot of depth to him too. Like we see that he's actually very smart. He performs calculations and quick decisions in his head in matter of decimals of a second.
Yeah, he is one of those like battlefield or like battle theater geniuses, and it's a great way to create that trope or to create that character here with the personality type. It's a very it's an iconic character. He's an iconic character because I was going to use this still right now for all of you. Just when you look at him, that looks like a character that stands out in personality, in expression, in design. It's just a good time.
Yeah, and I absolutely love his addition. He is fantastic, and he definitely elevated that half of the season to to monumental heights. But let's move on to. Oh yeah, but goes without saying, Ishikawa was the runner-up. Toto was the winner.
Good job,
Uh,
Toto. Good job, Ishikawa.
yeah.
Both of you guys rock. Toto just rocks a lot harder. So, just like in Horimiya, Toru Ishikawa is once again second choice.
uh, 2 seasons in a row, a goofy Jujutsu character won best supporting character. I'm
I
okay
think
with
because
this.
Jujutsu Kaisen does goofy characters with actual depth to them really well. From
Oh yeah.
Gojo to Toto, it's just well done, y'all.
Oh yeah. But let's move on to best antagonist, where it was slim pickings this season. We had Adam from Skate the Infinity, Yoshinobu, aka the principal from Jujutsu Kaisen, Anxiety from Horimiya, and Rudy from Jobless Reincarnation.
Didn't we have depression too from someone? Oh, and then depression from Wonder Egg Priority.
Did we? I don't have that on the
Yeah,
nominations.
yeah, yeah. It was the joke was anxiety and depression once again make the list.
I remember jokingly we were saying Riona is an antagonist. Wait, no, that's for spring. That's for spring season.
Mm-hmm.
Which
Yeah.
honestly, it's not even a joke at this point. As someone that went through 6 episodes of that, I'd say she counts as one. But
Anyway,
anyways, do we? Okay, obviously Rudy was a joke nomination. We went over how much of a piece of shit he is.
yeah,
It's
Rudy's on this list because he's just detestable. And like I was really holding out hope that the character would continue growing and developing and it would be a redemption story, but according to some people, at least by the manga and light novel, he gets fucking worse.
he get from what I understand, he gets better in the way of the people he hits on aren't kids anymore.
That's just because they all grow a little bit older, a few years older. But like the show will apparently, from what I've heard, will indulge his behavior. So I'm not a huge fan of that. As for anxiety
Yeah,
from Horimiya, that is self-explanatory. Anxiety plays a big part in creating the dynamics and situations that we see in this show. And if anyone remembers their high school and like middle school, high school, and excuse me, onward lives, that uncertainty and insecurity and the anxiety that comes from that can keep you from making obvious decisions, well, making decisions and taking actions that seem obvious in hindsight, but the show does a very good job at highlighting that. And even more so, it goes without saying, depression in One Direct Priority is a crucial part of the show's story, motif, and overall focus because it deals with trauma and uh people's real like the story highlights that like you could pass dozens of people, you can pass hundreds of people in a day and you have no idea what they're struggling with. So be kind and be understanding, be good to one another, but also just like when things drive people to suicide, that can only come from a very dark and hurt place.
yeah.
And that leaves us with
And that leaves us with our runner-up, Yoshinobu, aka the principal from Jujutsu Kaisen, who isn't the strongest antagonist in the world, but frankly, I thought he worked for
he's
what his role
such a
was.
fucking old school conservative piece of shit. Like he had okay,
Yep.
so like this would have been a very different conversation if we didn't get that last scene at the end of the season, right, with him and the Tokyo principal sitting and talking on the bench, where he just goes like,
Oh yeah.
I know you disagree with my ways, but like you have to understand I'm doing this because he's a threat. And if you ask me now if I would do anything different, I would not. But like I'm doing this to protect people. Fuck him still, because he's such an antagonized. Like he's he's a shitty old man. Like he doesn't even act with poise. Like he has this grand position in as the Kyoto school principal. He is this elder of the jujutsu sorcerer tribes. Yet he lets Gojo get under his skin, and he purposely acts against people. He gets in people's way on purpose to like piss them off, and then they piss him off. Fuck him. I hate him.
Although you do tell that he does care about at least his students' safety when he was willing to go rush into combat for them with, and he had a decent power. So I did enjoy that last conversation he had where he was talking about like these are our rules. We have these in place for a reason. We can't go making exceptions now. That's
And how the
ludicrous.
fuck you gonna pull out an electric axe yet preach about rules and traditions the whole time? Fuck you. You grew up. You became part of the system, old man.
Yeah, I that last conversation did make him a much better antagonist for me. And although,
It made him a richer character. It made him a fuller
oh yeah,
character.
it was less. Oh, I'm doing this because I don't like you, and more. No, we have rules in place. You can't keep going and being the wild card, Gojo. This is how we get this. Points to Itadori with Sukuna's mouth on him.
Yeah. Which honestly is like not to be unexpected because, quite frankly, Gojo is breaking rules and a lot of them, and because he's so charismatic, we kind of go and like we see that he's doing the right thing. We're like, yeah, go Gojo, go Gojo, but like in reality, he should be getting flack and like people clapping back.
Yeah, Gojo is also a shit. It's just he's an endearing shit because we like him. He's he's fun. We like him. He's nice. He's the strongest, so he can get away with it.
Yeah.
Like he knows he can get away with it, and that's in part is a bit of a toxic mindset.
Yeah, Gojo getting checked is important and crucial, even if you're a diehard Gojo fan looks across the table.
I'm the one that's bringing this up, motherfucker. I know that I know that he's a shit and has a bit of a toxic mindset, but I also love him.
Now, shall we talk about our unanimous vote for fucking Adam?
Yeah, like who else could you put at the
I
top?
mean, listen, even if we had other antagonists, Adam hands fucking down this megalomaniac piece of shit fucking madman.
What's up, bitches, bros, and non-binary
Yeah,
hoes?
the English dub took him in a very different direction with
No,
the whole
no, they're
like
just
hmm?
the English dub is just more blatant about him and his
No,
he
no,
he's
here he's this dramatic fucking theatrical vampiric-esque villain with this like regalness and this like Machiavellian menace and like what's the word I'm looking for? Mm, damn it, I lost the word. But like mm, maliciousness to him. And in the fucking English dub, he runs in and goes, "What's up, my bitches and bros and non-binary hoes? I'm Adam."
well.
And I'm like,
I, I,
what the fuck?
I was more meaning in the English dub his creepiness. He is even more creepy with longer than he is in the sub.
He's more molesty and creepy in the English dub, sure, but in it the dub, the Japanese dub is he's so dramatic and intimidating, but he's also ridiculously over the top, and it makes sense because Dio. But like, fucking hell, this guy, Adam, we love to hate you, we really do. You deserve so much more coming to you than you got. This fucking insane bastard, absolute bastard, parachuting out of a fucking helicopter to enter his skateboarding race and being really handsy and obsessive with teenage boys. What the fuck are you? If not the number one antagonist of the winter 2021 season.
Now, if we had a better antagonist from JJK, I actually would make a case for them being better because my issue with Adam comes with he doesn't really get a comeuppance. He gets away with all the shit he pulled and even gets forgiven in some cases. And
Yeah, again, the ending I was underwhelmed by, to say the least.
yep, which overall does affect his character and affects the way it was handled. But yeah, that was our winner. The runner-up Yoshinobu from Jujutsu Kaisen, and our winner was Adam from Skate the Infinity. And our next category up was Best Couple, where we have nominated Langa and Reiki from Skate to Infinity, Itadori and Toto from Jujutsu Kaisen, Mimura and Hori from Horimiya, the only romantic couple on this list, and White Blood Cell and Red Blood Cell from Cells at Work Code Black.
Now, this one was tough. I remember this one being tough because we had some good couples, we had some good duos. Cells at
But
Work kind of was the first one to go, right? Just because while
yeah,
you enjoyed their couples and I get where you're coming from and they have a nice dynamic in terms of like structure, they can't compete with any of the other three.
oh yeah, and it actually wasn't tough. I think the only like debating we had to do was where we placed who won because
Mm,
we were dead set on the two couples
yeah,
being at least somewhere on the winners because the next one we cut after White Blood Cell and Red Blood Cell was Longa and Reiki
yeah.
because
While they are a great duo and the show would be considerably worse without the two of them, when compared to the intimate relationship that we saw blossom and then continue developing with Horimiya, and just the incredible intensity and just fun of Itadori and Toto, our two skater boys, unfortunately, do fall into third.
Yeah. And our runner-up was Itadori and Toto, which, God, I almost wanted to put them as winner for me, but
This is
at the same
hard.
time, Miyamura and Hori get such good development and such good, like, they're such a good couple to see together, and they make compromises for each other. They're cute. They're such a good couple that I couldn't put Itadori and Toto above them. Like,
Yeah,
Itadori and Toto are a fantastic duo. They are brothers.
yeah. Let's talk about
And
them for a few minutes. Like for real though, like the my best friend. No, my brother. Like the entertainment value of Toto Itadori is incredible. Their intensity and the way that relationship was executed and then further like expounded upon and expositioned upon like throughout the combat with Hanami, so good. I find that
tell.
the show kind of shot it in the foot when they were like, "Oh hey, my bruzza," and then Itadori said, "Fuck off! Like leave me alone. I want my own space." That kind of was a sucker punch to their relationship for me, but I understand it. It was a point of like, okay, we're moving past this relationship and we're back to our core three of Fushiguro, Itadori, and Nobara. But mm,
And you can tell Itadori and Toto don't hate each other because they had that
oh
moment
heavens,
where
no, yeah.
Itadori grabs Toto and he's like, Toto, everyone hates you. And Itadori felt, you could tell on his face he was genuinely sad. Like, no. Like, it was definitely a case of like, I need my own space. You're smothering me, and also you're crazy. Well, we never went to middle school. I don't know. I enjoyed them, and I will say this, Dal. If you like Itadori and Toto's relationship, you're gonna love Jujutsu Kaisen Zero when the movie comes out.
I'm looking forward to it.
I am too. Winter. It comes out winter next year, so
Here's hoping it's as good here's hoping it lives up to your expectations. Wait,
with how
here's hoping
with
it
it,
lives up to my expectations, and here's wishing it hopes it lives up to yours.
as someone that has read the prequel manga of Jujutsu Kaisen Zero, and as someone who has well, Mappa is doing it, meaning it's going to have a gigantic budget being a movie. Let's put it this way: anime and movies genuinely get a higher budget and more time to do what they want to do. For example, the Demon Slayer movie, Mugen Train. That was one of the highest grossing films. Or no, it is the highest grossing anime film in Japan. And it was a fantastic movie as well, so I have high hopes.
Here's to them. But now, dude, let's talk about our winners.
Yeah. Miyamura
Hori,
and Hori.
yep, Hori and Miyamura. Hori Miya. I fucked
Oh,
that one
they're
up
so
there.
cute.
Oh, they're so cute. They're fantastic. That while there's like certain parts of their relationships where like not to kink shame, I'm like, all right, guys, all right, all right. At the end, they won out because they developed. Just more anime is shying away from like let's save the relationship and the gifts for the finale. No, fuck that. Give it to us in the middle or even earlier, and then have the rest of the story show them grow as a couple. Like give us like a few episodes or half a season of them as individuals and their relationship forming, and then give us the rest of the relationship and them continuing to grow as individuals but also a couple. That is such better compelling storytelling than just will they? Won't they? I mean, they probably will, but you don't know.
Yeah, I mean, one of my favorite romances too. It's not that, but it's very much a because one of my favorite romances right now. The hook is one of the five girls he's going to be with because of they set it up and the whole show is supposed to be a mystery, and even through the second season most of the characters have confessed at this point and they're still growing as people and we're seeing their relationships develop. It's just well, not as couples and more as friends and people who do have feelings for each other. And it's also very interesting. But I still will always love the way Hori and Miyamura's relationship was handled. I
Really
absolutely
quick, before you
adore
continue
it.
about Hori and Miyamura, on that thing, I just want to say, like, I personally am like, I'm over the harem genre until we start showing, at least in anime, until we start showing, you know, like polyamorous relationships where we see multiple relationship dynamics grow and build, which I don't want to see in a show about five sisters and a guy. Uh,
And I'm happy it doesn't do that in a show about five sisters and a guy.
yeah, until we start seeing more multi-layered or multifaceted relationships or interpersonal relationships amongst like a network in that kind of situation, I've kind of stepped away from the harem genre, as in the combination of will they won't
It,
they plus multiple relationships. It stacks for me, and I find that exhausting at this point. Like, I
it
want to see relationships explored. I don't want to see oh hoo hoo tee hee hoo hoo.
well, you still get to see the relationship explored, and it's not a will they won't they. It's a who will it be.
That's still a
It's
will they won't they, but who? Like,
I don't know. I find it more fascinating, and it hardly counts as a harem. It hardly counts as a harem.
hardly still counts though. But yes, Horimiya.
Yeah. And also I'd say watch the show before judging it. But
Oh yeah,
yeah,
for sure, for sure, for sure, for sure.
and
I have not
I,
seen the whatever the what is it, fantastic quintuplets,
quintessential
the
quintuplets.
quintessential
Ah,
quintuplets.
okay. Side note, I love all the sisters' relationships with each other too. They're just such a loving and caring family. It explores their relationship dynamics with each other too. That's also a part I love about it.
Right on, right on.
It's not just all about the guy. It's like, oh, they're a family, and we get to explore their relationships too. Like, the big sister is always, ragging on the little sister that she needs to, act a bit older, and like, hey, you need to brush your
Horimiya.
teeth every night. You need to, yeah. Listen, listen. I was actually going to use that to move into talking about Hori's little brother, but you ruined it.
Sorry, I guess.
It's fine. It's just I fucking love this screenshot though. Don't you dare go take my Miyamura. Miyamura.
Hey
I
you, don't you go stealing my Miyamura Tanihara!
Miyamura, I can understand you leaving me for a girl, but don't ever leave me for another guy. Then we get like the next panel. Sorry, I can't be friends with you guys anymore. Hori said no.
Yeah, no, it was good, man. Like, what can we say about the relationship that we haven't said yet? They are accepting of each other's insecurity, and there's a genuine desire to grow. And it's not like they fix each other, it's that they give each other the strength to get through their own issues. Like, it's a relationship with genuine dependence in the sense of like attachment because they genuinely like and care for each other, and without a sense of like codependency from one another. Like, for the longest time,
Yeah.
Miyamura was scared of like even feeling attached to Hori, and then moving forward, like, well, now I'm saying it out loud. I guess there was a level of codependency, but like that's what happens when it's not toxic because it's not the core of the relationship. At the end of the day, they genuinely enjoy each other and they propel each other to be better. Miyamura, with his soft, nurturing personality, kind of helps Hori calm down and brings down her walls and helps her be vulnerable and just emotional, while her Hori's like tough, you can do it, but like snap out of it attitude kind of makes Miyamura not get away with too much moping and like self-loathing. It's good. It's really good.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the two of them. They're a very good couple. But
In fact, they are the
that is
winners of Best Couple.
yeah. And that is the winner and runner-up for our best couple category. Runner-up in Itadori Toto. Winner, Miyamura and Hori. But our next category was Best Ensemble, which we had nominated Skate to Infinity, Horimiya, Wonder Egg Priority, and Jujutsu Kaisen. Let's start with Skate. Skate, for the longest time, we thought was going to be up there with one of the winners
Yep.
until it wasn't.
Yep. You guys heard us talk about it before. What it did with its ensemble is criminal. The way it benched over half the cast is criminal. And ultimately that is the reason why we just couldn't we had to cut something, and that's the reason why Skate got cut for this award, because its ensemble was fantastic, but what they did with it is just completely at the end.
Yeah. And our next ensemble that didn't make the cut was Wonder Egg Priority. And
Which I'm so upset
ultimately
about.
that came down to me and Gilly just not really feeling the characters or the show that much. I never really felt super compelled by the ensemble. Momoe was the only character in it that I was really fond of. I actively didn't really like. I understand why she
Oh,
was rejected,
you're
but at
cutting
the
in and
same
out pretty
time, it was
badly.
still like, oh, how am I now?
Yeah, okay.
How am I now?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't a fan of the way Rika acted. I understand there was a reason for it, but at the same time, it was still like I didn't enjoy seeing her on screen.
Yeah,
I
ultimately what
her
happened. Oh, go ahead, sorry.
No, I was basically done. You
Sure.
go on.
No, I cut you off.
I was essentially just gonna end up by saying like her screen time would have been better going off to like Momoe or even Neru for me, and even Neru I wasn't too big on because she was very much the most muted of the cast. Like I use the term a lot. They don't have personality, which isn't true. It's she definitely does have one. It's just it's a lot more muted and you don't see it, and that's kind of what I've never really been the biggest fan of those characters that like are more muted and don't have personality, or not they don't have personality, but don't really show their personality.
Yeah, your attention definitely gets captured by more expressive, louder, brighter characters. And it makes sense because they are louder and brighter. That being said, yeah, with Wonder Egg Priority, what it basically came down to is the fact that the show died, I think, on its fourth or fifth episode, and that was the period that was
Sixth,
focusing sixth. Okay, at that point,
yeah, it
Reika was still very much predominant in the story. There will be one more episode where she was like all the buildup about her character and her trauma and like her own issues would like finally get addressed all in one episode. But Gilly and me just couldn't get past Reika's shitty personality. You guys didn't really want to look deeper, and it was a show that really wasn't vibing for you to in the end anyway. So ultimately, like due to a lack of popularity, despite like me being able to talk about the show until I'm blue in the face, One Direct Priority did have to get cut. However, it is
you,
absolutely. Oh, what's up?
you've been saying Reiko.
Said Reiko?
You mean
Reika.
Rika?
Rika. Oops.
Okay, because you've been saying Reiko. I'm like, Dal, we love Reiko. What are you talking about?
Whoops. Rika, yes. Yeah. And it needs to be said that from Rika to Momoe with Ai and Neru, the choice of the four characters that make up the Wonder Egg ensemble, the four eggs, if you would, as you see in the screen, red, blue, yellow, and green, they are it's very well designed in my opinion, in terms of from a design standpoint, from like what characters do we need to make up to tell and facilitate the story. In my opinion, Wonder Egg Priority still wins the gold in this one. But in terms of overall entertainment and just enjoyable and just overall fun and exciting and engaging ensembles, we had to give Wonder Egg Priority the bronze.
Yep. And our runner-up for our best ensemble was Jujutsu Kaisen, which I was actually pushing to be the winner because I and this might just be being a show like a shonen lover, but I loved all of the side characters they shown, and I think what kind of made it fall for you and Gilly is was the Kyoto students. Yeah, I remember you two weren't very warm on them, but and that's fair. But I still really enjoyed the ensemble that we had, and like because Panda, Maki, Nobara got a whole lot more. Fushiguro got a whole lot more. Like his incredible domain expansion, it was phenomenal. That was one of my favorite episodes of the Cour.
Yeah. See, the thing is with Jujutsu Kaisen, while the ensemble is very good, and if you guys are paying attention, you already know who the winner is. Ultimately, the show went back to being about Itadori, Fushiguro, and Nobara, and there's nothing wrong with that. But there is another show on the list that uses all of its characters even better than this show. But it can't go without being said that Jujutsu Kaisen, for a shonen, uses its side characters extremely well. At least in this second half of the season, we get a lot of time, attention, personality, and action from a great number of these students, and they really do feel like they were part of the story and part of the events. However,
Yeah,
mhm,
I was gonna say, and yeah, and even in the last three episodes, Fushiguro was kind of the main character, and Nobara stole the show in the last one.
yeah, and that's great, but again, that's not using its entire ensemble. But my God, does was this a close fucking call? Because those last three episodes were phenomenal. But we'll get to best episode later.
Yeah, and our winner was Horimiya, which I feel you talk on it a bit because I Horimiya does use its ensemble really well. I do enjoy its ensemble, although there were three characters I mentioned prior that felt a little bit not stilted, but when they entered into the ensemble, it felt a bit weird. Like the bully character, as an example, out of nowhere, it seemed the green haired boy was a lot more important, and Yagi, after his whole confessing to Yuki, he came in to and was friends with them. I would like to see it happen a bit more naturally, where it's like, oh yeah, we see him starting to hang out with them a bit more instead of just, he's in the group now. That was kind of where my issue with the ensemble came in.
Yeah, I mean, and those are valid. Those are valid critiques. Again, I will reiterate that it's just impressive that the show is able to work as much content as coherently as it did, or adapt as much content coherently as it did. And we've mentioned this already before, but the show does characters incredibly well. And not once, not a single maybe. Well, I yeah. Now that I'm thinking about it, like two characters kind of became much less prominent, but they still came back and still did things. Uh, e- anyway, I've rarely see a show use a roster of characters as big as this. That I think it's like 15 characters, right? If you count the screen, there's like 3, there's 6, 9. Well, yeah, 15. 15 characters as efficiently, coherently strung together and just constant and relevant. It's just no one felt irrelevant except maybe the short girl who had a crush and was in love with Hori. Um, she kind of fell off a little bit on the wayside, and Miyamura's orange hair friend kind of also fell off a little bit at the end, but he had like a scene and his story was mentioned at the end in a more resounding way. It's just Horimiya uses its cast in a effective storytelling way while keeping everyone relevant and just I don't know how else to put it.
Man, I should have fought harder for Jujutsu Kaisen's best ensemble because now, reminding me of those two, you remind me of five characters I thought weren't used extremely well in the
Oh,
ensemble.
sure, but also remember that me and Gilly felt really strongly about this ensemble, and ultimately, Horimiya does use its ensemble better than even Jujutsu Kaisen, even though Jujutsu Kaisen did very well this season. In fact, I remember saying that exact phrase or something along the lines of that to you when we were actually doing the awards.
Eh, I well, this isn't the actual words. We're just going over what won, so it's too late. But
It's moot.
I thinking back on it, I would have pushed harder. But that's just me.
Well, just like then, we were just like now, we were running out of time. So
Yeah. So let's yeah, that was what our best ensemble was. Let's move on to best opening, which these categories actually shouldn't be that long, all things considered. We had nominated Paradise from Skate the Infinity, Color Perfume from Horimiya, Vivid Vice from Jujutsu Kaisen, and Sudachi no Uta from Wonder Egg Priority.
I'll start off with Sadachi no Uta, the Wonder Egg Priority opening. I remember being surprised that we actually had that on the nomination, but just it's a matter of giving credit where credit is due. Uh, it's a solid opening, and once you realize that the opening is talking about how we pass people every day without even like considering what they're going through, like we have no idea what like because it shows all four of the ensemble, all four of the girls passing each other at one point or another, and they don't know each other. So, but we know the struggles they're dealing with now that we're watching the show, but at that moment they have no idea, and like they're just walking past each other because they're strangers. It does a very good job at further setting up the tone of the show as well as like contributing to the motifs and the themes. So it's good. Song is fine.
Yeah, and I will talk about the one I was very passionate about, Vivid Vice. Man, I loved the song, and yes, it's one of those anime that has the visuals that spoil things, but it's and this is also like it's one of those things where you shouldn't be complacent, but at the same time, it's happened so much in anime now that I'm also not someone that really cares for spoilers. It's I try to avoid them for the show specifically though, just because I I don't want to know what's going in, so I'm not being like, oh, we'll just wait until it gets better. Ha ha ha. Me, who's may read a manga, but I really enjoyed the visuals in this opening because I know you guys actually didn't like the animation
Yeah,
style
but hold
because
on,
the
maybe
anime.
earlier you were saying like in an opening what's important for you is to be shown like content about the characters and for there not to be spoilers. And now you're saying like, oh, you don't really care about it all that much.
Wait, what? I'm confused.
Well,
No.
earlier when you were talking about like it's really important, what's important for me in the opening is for it to be pretty, for there to be like showing me like content about like the story, and for there to be no spoilers. And now you're saying like, oh, I don't
Yeah.
care really if there's spoilers. So like,
Well, I'm saying that that's what an opening should be, but I don't mind when it isn't. Like I don't vehemently hate this opening because it did that. It sucks, but it is what it is.
hmm.
Like, and I love the song. The visuals were really good. Like, because it only when it actually gets spoilery is when it starts showing Hanami on the roof, which is what was like the only thing that was like, oh, I know where you're confused. I said I try to avoid spoilers for the show because I don't. Okay, yeah, I know where the confusion is coming from. What I was saying earlier is I try to avoid spoilers for the shows that we're watching on the list, obviously, because like whenever, for example, someone in another Discord man will start talking about like, oh yeah, I read the manga of Tokyo Revengers and this, like I'll be like, okay, well, I'll mute and deafen until they're done talking about it because don't want to get spoiled because it's our show. But if it's the opening spoiling it, I have to watch through the opening for the awards. I can't help it.
Hmm. Which is
but,
why I
but yeah,
just
no,
I like make original content, guys. Look to the early 2000s, the early and late 2000s. Look at those openings. Hell, even early 2010 was, well, that's late 2000s when it started happening. But yeah, like just create content. Just like tell a small story, express your characters through OC instead of just telling us what we're gonna see in the show. Like, why the fuck am I watching the show if you're just gonna give it all to me up in front? Stop doing this anime. Just be more creative.
I think it's also in part a thing of, and this obviously doesn't make it okay, but it's also in part that openings are also often used to try and hook people and they're kind of like commercials within the commercials within the show to be like, hey, this is what you're gonna get. But I get where you're coming
Yeah,
from, and
exactly. Yeah,
yeah,
but exactly. Fuck that. Like, have your show succeed on its own merits. Like, stop trying to hook and get people all the time. Like, we need to stop
well,
treating our consumers and our audience like idiots.
it's very easy to say that, but you have to remember how competitive of a market this is. This is a extremely competitive and oversaturated market. Well, it's incredibly easy to say that. It's also it's incredibly easy to say that, but it's not as easy said as done, or easy done as said, or however the saying goes.
Regardless, I think
It's
it's spoiling things ultimately led to it not placing on the awards. So
it, yeah. Although it's spoiling things didn't really like normally be like, ah, well, that sucks, but I guess I don't really mind. To me, it was even less so when like the episode started off with like Gojo, Namahito, and all them being like, ah, yes, we're going to attack and get the fingers. It's like, well, we know anyways. We just the only thing that spoiled is we know who is going to be the one fighting.
mm-hmm.
Alrighty, but yeah, I was really down for Vivid Vice and how it showed the the whole message of the show of a future that can't exist, with the blue roses. But yeah, it's just
Actually,
yeah,
you should
that's what.
mention that. You should elaborate on that a bit more because
So Jujutsu's whole like message and tagline is it very much is a show that deals with grief. Like look no further than Junpei, Itadori's grandfather, and all the emotions came from that. And its tagline and kind of catchphrase is a future that cannot exist. That is why the opening of the first season, the first half, was so beautiful because it showed you a future that wouldn't exist. Because obviously, what happens to Junpei, he can't join the Jujutsu school, and that was beautifully done, masterfully done. And in this one, you see Gojo with blue roses, which blue roses are famous for being impossible. Blue roses cannot exist. We have black roses, red roses, pink roses, but there are no blue roses. Yet you see Gojo dropping a bunch of blue roses, which is such a good metaphor for what the show's message and theme is. I loved that I actually heard about that because it made me pick up on so many things in both the ending and the opening.
yeah, man.
Uh, let's talk about the runner up now.
Let's do it.
Paradise, Escape the Infinity.
So why
I
don't you start off first and about praises, then I'll just mention what I liked and didn't like about it and why I kind of fought for it to get the uh runner up spot.
runner up. Yeah, I so I liked it, although it had the same issue for me as Akudama Drive opening had, where it was a lot of flashing colors, though, and it didn't really it didn't get me excited for the show, and that's also part of there actually wasn't overall there wasn't much skating in the show. Like
I
I
mean,
was more
I
in the show
still don't
for
know what you're
characters.
talking. I mean, I agree that there's not enough skating in the show because or I agree that there could have been even more skating on the show. The same way as like the abridged joke is just like, is it on fire? It could be more on fire, like, but there was definitely plenty of skating in the show.
When only each character got like one race, and even then a lot of the some races were cut short. Like look at Mia and Snake, it was like 2 minutes,
Yeah,
and it was like Shadow got murked. Like I can only like at the start we had a lot of skating, but in the mid-season we didn't have a lot, and what we had wasn't fantastic. Like since the beach episode, it took a while to get another skate that I actually enjoyed, and that may have been what affected the opening for me. But
Mm.
I
I
don't know.
disagree personally, but I mean, you had a strong opinion after the beach episode. It tarnished the show a lot for you, so I kind of get it.
Yeah, but I was down for it being runner up. It was just I know Gilly fought for it really
He
hard
really
because
did.
my original picks for this I remember were, uh, I think it was like my personal pick was Vivid Vice, then Route A, but I knew that wasn't going to win, so I was like, oh, okay, well I know you two are passionate about it, so we'll go. I'd submit to Route A and Vivid Vice, but then you pulled a fast one on me. You're like, no, Color Perfume is your favorite. I'm like, oh well,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. My issue with Paradise Lost, or the Skate the Infinity opening, was the fact that, how do I put this? The visuals were stunning. The opening, visually, the opening is delightful. It is like when the skating begins, like the start off, like the first few seconds with them like dancing on their boards is great, but that, honestly, the downfall for me is the fact that the voice is auto-tuned. Like, I don't like it. I don't like that. I don't understand why we're doing that. The heavy auto tuning on the voice was not pleasant to me, but like the beat is funky and the visuals are great. It's bright, it's colorful, it's setting up a lot of energy that we're gonna see in the show. It kind of shows off our ensemble in the beginning. There's that great like dip that they do that's just gorgeous. But ultimately, when we talk about like visually pleasing openings that tell us a lot about the show and express its motifs and get us ready for it with an enjoyable song, the Horimiya opening did exactly that. There's this four panel shot that's like panning over the school with Hori in front of it, and each panel is a different season, and then they all come together into like a four panel like overall like frame, and that's so fucking beautiful. And then just overall, like you kind of get. I remember watching the opening of Horimiya the first time I saw it. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm getting into, but I know there's going to be feels. And it kind of constantly switches between the new day and that kind of dark, shadowy place in our minds that we're still working through.
yeah. And Horimiya Color Perfume. I remember when we were talking about it, I was actually a lot warmer on it. And knowing that I wouldn't be able to get Vivid Vice on there, it's like, yeah, no, Horimiya for a winner. I'd be completely down for that. I absolutely loved Horimiya, this opening.
Yeah, good. So that is our runner-up, going to best opening Paradise, the Skate the Infinities, and Perfume, Horimiya's opening.
Yeah. Next up was our best ending, which we had nominated. Give It Back from Jujutsu Kaisen, Do Your Best, Kumiko from Soma Spider, So What? Life is Cider from Wonder Egg Priority, and Infinity from Skate to Infinity.
Yeah, I'm just gonna open up the same way I opened up when we did the awards. And Infinity gets the fucking gold because it's just so fucking good.
Yeah, I wasn't going to argue against your and Gilly's passion for it. I wasn't nearly as passionate as you two were about it, but I wasn't going to argue against your passion.
Yeah, no, Infinity is so good. Just whoa, let's get the feeling. It's the perfect come down song after like a bombastic episode of Skate. It shows off all the characters wiping out and a much more human aspect, humanizing everyone. It even humanizes Adam a little bit because it shows that even he fucks up, even though that his attendant Snake, or his sub, which it turns out to be, kind of like blocks the camera, so because he's a high profile figure, and no press, no press. um and then I think either you or Gilly were the one to mention that like in the last episode it changed to him actually catching him or something like that.
It was me. It was me. Because in like the last episode before, it changes to Snake catching Adam.
Yeah, before he can get hurt, which is cute, but still, fuck Adam. Don't fuck him, he's a creep. um it's just the song is a bop, but like a chill bop, and I still listen to it, and the visuals are just nice. The little bouncing palm cartoon like crayon palm trees to the beat is just I fucking love this ending, man.
It's like if Akudama Drive's opening was an ending.
Mm, I guess.
Oyo, 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 oyo.
Oyo, oyo, oyo. But that one's more bombastic. This one is just like a chill tropical vibe, you know, man. It's like a little Rasta-y. It's a little like hip hoppy. It's just a vibe. It's a bop.
Yeah, I enjoyed it too. It wasn't my favorite. Mine, we'll get to mine. Well, why don't you talk about? Oh, geez. Life is Cider was the one you nominated, right?
Life is cider. Which one is that?
It's Wonder Eggs.
Wonder Eggs. Again, I really wasn't shooting for Wonder Egg priorities, openings or endings. I mean, I'll talk about it because hello, I'm your resident Wonder Egg priority defender and representative. I mean, it's good. You get these like little pictures that to the end I still wasn't sure if they were from the past. I think they're a combination of past and future that kind of is optimistic because it shows the girls hanging out and like going to the beach and like going to like the overlook. It's chill. It's definitely something that helps you come down after an episode of Wonder Egg, but like it also never really felt like it fit. Like it's you get this Momoe succeeding in her Wonder Egg task ending episode, which poor fucking girl, changing to that ending is just like, no, no, things are not okay. Things are not happy, calm times. Things are bad. Really bad.
And I don't remember who was wanting this to be nominated because I don't. Was it me?
Maybe.
I can't remember. Well, either way, that is Life is Cider because I actually don't remember it very well.
It's a chill
I know
song.
what.
It's pleasant, but like that wasn't the opening and the ending was not why I was watching Wonder Egg, you know?
Yeah, and all the next is well the best thing about Spider for me, the ending. I I actually liked the ending. I dug it. I wouldn't put it above either Infinity or Give It Back, but I liked Spider's ending. It had a fun energy to it. It was nice, even though if you listen to it in English, it spoils the entire
Well,
show.
that's the point. They released the. It doesn't spoil the entire show. I mean, I don't know about English, but like in Japanese, it kind of like 2/3 of the show. It's just the ending. That's all it is. So I guess if you listen to it in Japanese, it would have spoiled, and then it gets subbed, and then it spoiled like 3 episodes before the finale or something like that. Don't quote me on the exact numbers. I love the fucking
I
ending.
I
Me.
don't know. I was listening to the ending in English when one of the people I'm subscribed to that does covers was doing it. It's like joining up with the Demon Lord. I'm like, that's a fucking spoiler and a half.
I
It's
just
just going through like it's
it,
like and there's one part where says that the one brother dies. It's like chill, show, chill.
okay. I that's not how the Japanese is done. The Japanese just recaps the season thus far. When they sub it, it talks about how like she's alone in a cave, she fights a dragon, she and all this like fighting really hard, trying to level up, having a hard time, like all this shit, like all that kind of stuff, like that's what the episodes talk about, like fight off a bunch of monkeys, fight off a giant spider, like what is this world from me, who the fuck is this like strange announcer demon lord, what, it's pretty much recapping the first season. It sounds whoever did a cover of it kind of looked into the manga more to maybe they looked into the manga more to find out what happens. Regardless, the ending is pure sheer fucking chaos, and me and Gilly loved it. It's just this madness of fucking. It changes song genres like 2 3 times. It goes into like classic old school like Japanese karaoke opera thing. I forget the name. It's like Rangu or something like that. Point is, it's hilarious where it's just like spider cuts into like what is my fate to be stuck as a spider in the isekai world, and the fact that like she calls herself out as an isekai is great, and it's just complete chaotic energy to the point where like the visuals are bright and flashy to the like I'm surprised Gilly could actually watch it. In fact, I think Gilly wasn't able to watch it. He had to listen to it only. It's just ridiculous. Would I listen to it on like on a daily day basis? No, but it's just so fucking stupid and fun at the end of each ridiculous episode.
Yeah. And then we had our runner up, which was the one I was fighting for heavily, Give It Back from Jujutsu Kaisen, just because I
Ah,
love I love endings that just show your characters in chill and different situations. Like we got to because in the ending you get to see Itadori because the whole ending is framed as Itadori taking pictures of and filming his friends that are just hanging out and being bros, really.
yeah, yeah. The Jujutsu Kaisen opening. That's what I want. That I this if Skates wasn't such a bop and it didn't do everything, kind of show off its characters as well, and just like a perfect ending to each episode. Honestly, Jujutsu Kaisen would probably be number one. I love when shows do this. I love when their endings are a story in and of itself, not just hinting at things or recapping or just very pretty stills. Um, I the whole ending is just like a story about how everyone went out in like winter or autumn to the beach and just had a hangout once Itadori comes back from pretending to be dead. And honestly, it's such a pleasant after of like this also follows up almost many of the Jujutsu Kaisen episodes very well because it's just a pleasant, somewhat somber, but also very calm and peaceful and kind of happy.
The thing that worries me most about the ending is thinking about time wise. The Shibuya incident, as said by Ghetto, is supposed to happen on October 31st, which is before winter. We see the ending, Give It Back, take place after winter.
But we
The
don't know if
show's
it's after
tagline,
winter.
well, it's cold. They're all wearing winter gear, and you can see their
Yeah,
breath.
but
Like
that's also
Itadori's.
the fashion in autumn in a lot of places in Japan. And they're in Tokyo, so like it can get
It
cold.
it seemed like it was winter, but either way, it's just the thought of like, oh, the anime's catchphrase is a future that can't exist. We're seeing them all
Ah.
having fun, and we're seeing them all having fun and happy. This is supposed to take place after the Shibuya incident. I have no fear. Okay, I have one fear. I can't believe Panda became Ash in the Shibuya incident.
But yeah, no, it's a good time.
Yeah, you two are just so passionate about Infinity that I wasn't able to argue for it being higher.
It's really good. Like, don't get me wrong. It's so good. It's just
Well,
like when compared to like the perfection that is Skate's ending, it's I couldn't give it to anything else.
well, that we talked about all the ones there. Let's go to best soundtrack,
Well,
where we have
let's review. So our runner up is
Give It Back from Jujutsu Kaisen, and our winner was Infinity from Skate the Infinity.
E.
And let's move to best soundtrack, where we had nominated Jujutsu Kaisen, Skate to Infinity, Horimiya, and Jobless Reincarnation. And this one was our most contentious category.
And
Me and
before
Gilly were
actually go on. Sorry. Go on. Yeah, you and Gilly.
me and Gilly were at each other's heads with our, and I was trying so hard to convince you for mine just because I really wasn't the biggest fan of Skate's music, or of the music of the winter most of the time.
Hmm. Yeah, I think this is the moment where I just kind of like pick my hands up, lay down, and just let you guys argue and talk about it because it's like, hey, you guys are the ones who are passionate about it, and like ultimately the decision is yours. In fact, I think I was like stuck between the two of them for quite a while. Yes, I was stuck between the two of them for quite a
You
while.
were, and
Yeah,
Death swayed you. Thanks, Death.
Death to Reality, by the way, person who does our lovely banner. Um, but yeah, I think I like flipped a coin, honestly. Regardless, before we get to like the winners, I do excuse me. I do have an honorable mention, and it was the Idly Pride, actually, because we couldn't put it on because like from at least what we saw in the show, it kept using the same fucking song over and over again, and the Mana song who's like dead, and I'm just like fucking why? Just create original content, but all the endings, every ending was a different song, if not by a different idol group who like who either guest appeared or just was referenced in the show, and I thought that was really cool. They were mostly stills, if not all stills, but just it was a different slideshow of these like idol girls, possibly animified or just they're different anime idols, or within the universe. Maybe it's the Idly Pride universe's idols, but regardless, it was a different group each time with like different songs, and I love that. I fucking love that, and I honestly think the show deserves appreciation and respect for doing that.
Mm, yeah, and uh, yeah, and then so let's talk about Horimiya first. Horimiya's soundtrack, I actually don't remember it a whole lot. It was a bit more, it was a bit more muted,
It was.
but
I don't agree that it was. It. I don't want to call it more muted. It's more of a less prominent. It was soft piano keys, the occasional, flute. It was all thematic music. It was all not atmospheric, but yeah, not environmental, but
oh,
atmospheric music.
I was gonna say it was more muted than the other ones on the list.
Okay,
Like,
okay, okay. Sorry, I thought you were saying it was muted. I'm like, I don't think that's fair.
like I just don't remember because it's like you said, it's a lot of flutes, a lot of pianos, and you generally hear that in a lot of different slice of life. It's really how it was used here that was
Hmm.
the difference.
Yeah, yeah. The music was always to like help to accompany the mood. It was never, yeah, it was always accompanying pieces, and those are valid and important too. But when compared to some of the other soundtracks we have on this, which did that and some, just that wasn't exactly mind blowing.
Yeah, and I know you were a big fan of the Jobless Reincarnation soundtrack. If you want to talk about
Uh,
that one,
it's giving credit where credit's due. Harpsichords, flutes, mandolins, sitars, like all those kind of instruments that would set a fantasy aesthetic were all present there. It pisses me off that Jobless Reincarnation is so fucking gorgeous, both visually and audibly, like audio wise, and that it really captures the fantasy aesthetic that I love. But it's used on this. But giving credit where credit is due, Jobless really understands the fantasy aesthetic, and the music is indicative of that as well as the visuals.
yeah. And then there was the one I was pushing for, Jujutsu Kaisen. I was fighting tooth and nail with Gilly to get that one as the winner because, oh my god, the soundtracks pumped me up whenever they played
Mm-hmm.
Boogie Woogie, Fushigiro's Domain expansion. Remember when in episode 24, the whoa, don't you remember?
Yeah,
Whoa.
the music in Jujutsu Kaisen, especially this season, was fucking badass. The boogie,
I
yeah. While Boogie Woogie wasn't my favorite, honestly, the music accompaniment for the final episode with Nobara when she snaps her fingers and that whole fucking scene when her power goes off, chills. Remembering it right now still gives me chills.
want to know a fun fact. The the sound director slash music composer of Jujutsu Kaisen studied under the sound director slash music composer of Vivi.
Hmm. Funny, fun, funny, fun.
I just thought that'd be a fun fact to say.
Yeah, yeah. No, the like honestly, from the sound design to just the music accompaniment in Jujutsu Kaisen, it is fantastic. And I honestly could have went either way. Like honestly, thinking about it now, well, yes, okay, right. My ultimate decision was I didn't give it to Jujutsu Kaisen because while Jujutsu Kaisen had one particular moment of crucial, like definitive, memorable, not definitive, memorable music cue, Skate had a few. And I kind of went for quantity, though if I honestly have to give it, like, kind of wanted to give Gilly a win. Like I really like the Skate the Infinity soundtrack too, but he had to remind me of the good things. While Jujutsu Kaisen already kind of had my mind. So I think like passion wise, I love the Jujutsu Kaisen soundtrack the most. But like thoughtful, like thought out, and like how the fuck do I put this? Education, like when being more thoughtful and aware, and like an overall like uh uh conscious aspect, yeah, I still have to give it to Skate though. Jujutsu Kaisen's soundtrack is fantastic. God damn that final
Yeah.
cue. Oh,
Then our winner was Skate to Infinity, which I actually don't have much to say about the soundtrack.
yeah,
Do you
it
have
yeah, it really just comes down like the music that was playing for Adam's final skate with Longa was fucking fantastic. The pump up rhythms that play during the other skates, it all comes down to the skates. Like their downtime music was fine; it wasn't particularly memorable. I think Jujutsu Kaisen's downtime soundtrack was more memorable than music was more memorable than skates. But the overall skate the infinities actual skating moments, like they were well chosen for the characters whose skates it was. Like, you know, the Joe and Longa fight was short, but I remember like the it's just it was good cues overall, and it really worked well with the visuals. And I think as like a soundtrack, as a standalone, Jujutsu Kaisen's like again more memorable, but like as a soundtrack that like really works for fitting the mood and driving the show forward, as well as being standalone. Ski the Infinity had some good fucking tracks.
also, can I mention a retrospective honorable mention for best
Sure.
soundtrack?
Yeah, why not?
Quintessential Quintuplets, very
Oh
nice
god damn it.
soundtrack that accompanies everything
I
well.
thought you meant
No,
in the
Dell, listen.
show.
No, Dell, listen, listen. You have to listen to music. Like, I'm not saying watch the show, but at least give the music a listen. It's
Okay.
incredibly calming. Like
Okay.
I was having a more kind of a panic slash depressive episode. And I just put some of the soundtrack on it. It calmed me down.
I understand. That's how I feel about Super Cup this season. But in regards to this season, yeah, like I understand why Skate won out because it did what it needed to do.
Hey, season 2 came out during winter.
But yeah,
But yeah,
so to our runner-up, Jujutsu Kaisen. Man, this literally I remember the vote. I think I flipped a coin and then you both started like being like, "Come on, guys, come on." Like Dalaran, you gotta come on, Dalaran, you gotta do this. No,
yeah.
Dalaran, you know this is in your heart.
No, you told us to make our case,
Yeah.
and we did. You flipped the coin, and then we went, no, that's not fair. And then you're like, fine, I'll look at chat. And Death swayed you by mentioning the Adam V. Longa song.
Death is still in chat to this day right now, talking about the soundtrack and Skate and the Longa v Adam song. That's funny.
Boogie
Uh,
Woogie is a better soundtrack than Adam V. Longa will ever be.
but yeah, no, it was a good time. But yeah, congratulations to our like pseudo runner up. Honestly, they're both winners in my book.
All right. Next category was Prettiest Show. Nominated, we had Wonder Egg Priority, Skate to Infinity, Jobless Reincarnation, Jujutsu Kaisen, and Horimiya. Let's talk about Skate first. Skate was pretty. It did a lot with its colors, with its visuals, and everything. Although, like, I will always give Studio Bones this. They know how to animate. They know how to animate well. Although at the same time, it didn't really do anything too super interesting to me, at least with the visuals. Like
Hi,
it, like
Resident. Hmm?
well, I was just gonna say, like like when I say it didn't do anything super interesting to me with the visuals, it's more just like I don't know. I felt it's one of those things where it's just like it kind of felt like regular animation as opposed to something like Jobless and Wonder Egg, where it feels like you could reach out and feel what's there.
Hi, Dalaran here, resident pretty show enthusiast and constant gusher. That came out wrong, but moving on. Yeah, like I disagree with you. Skate is very pretty. It's very pretty in general. And it can be drop dead gorgeous when it wants to be. The thing is though, specifically when it wants to be. Like you said, it is very colorful. I love how I don't even know the right term for this, so apologies, artists and photographers and videographers, if I'm saying this wrong. But like how much contrast and saturation there is in this show, the lightings, the use of colors for each character to identify them, the eyes are very shiny. The show's very pretty. Each character is drawn very well until they're not. There's been a number of times throughout the show where things were super off model. Earlier, before in the show, like you guys saw, I even went, "Oh, this was a bad choice of still for this particular moment," because they like look like uh
Do we have the still of Joe where his head was just super tiny? It was like half its normal size.
I don't see it, but I know the one you're talking about. There was also that still that when Cherry got laid
So
the fuck out, he kind of ran up to Cherry to pick him up, and then he looked up at Adam, and he was drawn very poorly.
I I just remember it was like it's like one of those mods like it you know what, it's a good example. It's like that meme of Chris Redfield from Resident Evil 8 where they just make his head really small. It looked like that.
Yeah.
like like they drew his head so tiny in that one shot. Don't know why. Uh but yeah, no, Skate like I yeah, Skate is very
Oh, that's a bad sound. Um, I'll just continue going while there was some bad
yeah.
sound effects from Meep's end. Yeah, Skate.
No,
See,
I'm back.
okay.
It
You
I
want to continue your
don't
point before I
know
continue mine?
why. Yeah, I don't know why, but my laptop fan, like you know, the fan inside my laptop, it just started fucking making a noise.
Yeah.
But but yeah, no, I like skate is very pretty. It's very visually pleasing. But yeah, like you said, it does have a lot of off shots, and as I said before, I just don't
I
feel like it
mean,
does anything super special
I
personally.
won't even say that it has a lot of off shots. It just has like this season was very visually competitive. We had gorgeous shows left and right. It was an incredibly very good looking season. So at one point or another, we had to decide where we make our cuts, and unfortunately, Skate having not the most consistent animation, while generally very pretty, like personally my take, I get where you're coming from me, but for me, like the show's very good looking. It's very pretty. The boys are very pretty. The glistening waters, the lighting, the eyes, the hair, the colors, etc., that I've mentioned before. Fantastic. Very pretty show. The skate in itself is gorgeous, very fluid. The blurs are unnoticeable unless you're looking for them. The actions, the dynamics, all fantastic. But we had to make a cut somewhere, and those like few bad shots as well as it compared to the rest of the things we're talking about, just it, skate could not compete with, well, Meep already said it, uh Jobless and Wonder Egg. What else did we have lined up? Because it was a very good looking season.
We had Jujutsu Kaisen, which I didn't even fight for because I even thought that Jobless and Wonder Egg were better animated in that.
Yeah.
Just because Jujutsu, well, Jujutsu, it it does like for a shonen, it does new things with its animation and visuals. But I've also seen anime that do the same, and honestly, a big part of Jujutsu's like prettiness to me were character designs. I loved every single character design in it. Like Jogo, I remember when I first saw Jogo, I thought he was goofy, but then when you see him in action against Gojo, I was like, no, that's actually really cool. Hanami is cool looking. Ghetto, like
I am
Mahito.
I am proud of you for getting the Gojo Jogo dynamic right just now. Good on you.
Yeah, like Gojo looks cool. Like I like Itadori and regular Itadori Sukuna. Like those fucking tattoos. Those even inspired a D&D character of mine with the like. I fucking love that tattoo look.
Yeah, no, there's no argument that Jujutsu Kaisen is a great looking show. Gorgeous, especially for shonen. The designs are badass. We just talked about Toto earlier, how like he looks iconic. Itadori's noticeable. Fushigiro's like not is probably like one of the less interesting designs, but still he stands out. Each character is designed in a way, and with a bunch of character, with well, each character's design has a bunch of character to it. It drives it point. Jujutsu Kaisen does that very well. Certain fights and the way they animate the curse energy and like some of the attacks, incredible. The last three episodes are stunning to look at and watch, not just because of the action, but just because of the animation itself. However, there were times where we went really blurry, and not just, and I'm not talking about mid frames, I'm talking about the actual fight itself took a much more fluid, loose, dare I say, noodly look. Mainly, most noticeable in the Hanami versus Todo and Itadori fight in the beginning, or like with Soundboy, um, on top of the roofs, like that did not look good to me. It was, and they had other moments in the show where like the moment the camera zooms out, starts getting drawn very free-handed and off model, and I just did not enjoy that. So ultimately, that was its dying sin, for lack of a better term.
Then
But the
after that, we have
backdrops, really quick, just to give Jujutsu Kaisen more credit where it's due, the backdrops in Jujutsu Kaisen are incredible. Like the environmentals, from the old palace Japanese castles, to the forests, to the rivers, to even like a cave, which doesn't really inspire a lot. They still had like texture and stalagmites and like whole structures. It's man, show's so good. Jujutsu Kaisen's so good.
Oh yeah, and it does its derelict and creepy atmosphere well. Like
Mm.
the fights that we had one in a on a school, we had one in a juvenile detention center, a road in the forest, there was in the sewer, it in another school again, but then there was the Hanami fight, which even though it was in the daytime, because of the veil, it had this like there was this great giant tree in the background, like this eerie, kind of like smog looking texture to the sky. Then we had under a suicide bridge, which was fucking phenomenal still. And then they went onto a road again when they were fighting with the two cursed brothers, but still. Like it's the show is very pretty, but ultimately there were two others that beat it out, and I also have to admit that those two others are gorgeous.
Incredible. I'm assuming we're getting to our runner up right now.
No, we haven't talked about Horimiya yet.
Oh, Horimi is pretty, but just like we talked about with the other two shows, it doesn't really measure up. Its use of colors is
Yeah,
very nice to drive its thematics home. The whiteout screens where a character is experiencing a very particular emotion or an anxiety is fantastic. Every character being color coded in their own way, similar to Skate with the green hair, the teal hair, Ori's orange, Miyamoto's black, Toru's purple, etc., etc., etc. Sakura's dark green. It's all very pleasant to look at. This kind of like pencil style that everything is kind of done in with the outlines. It's very nice.
kind of reminds me of Adachi Toshimura in a way.
I can see from like
Uh,
the pencil standpoint, but Adachi Toshima was very softer in color. Here, everything
oh
was
yeah,
definitely sharper.
oh yeah, it's It's softer, but the animation style reminds me a bit. And also, okay, small side note: Dashi Tushimura,
Oh,
incredible
gorgeous.
dub.
Oh, dub. Okay.
I'd actually say it's dub is better than sub, but that's just side note.
Yeah, you've been liking a lot of dubs recently, but yeah, no. Horimiya is indeed a very pretty show. Its opening is gorgeous. And when it wants to kick things up, it does that freehand style that I was like talking about in Jujutsu Kaisen just now way better. Like when wind kicks up, like the skirt flutters out in this very violent, like brash way. The hair, like Hori's hair, would like whip in the air too, but like it was done. It was purposely abstracted, like it was purposely done in a almost exaggerated way to kind of kick up and so that when the scene cuts back to her like pulling her hair from her face and then looking at Miyamura and saying what she had to say in that dramatic moment, it lands all the better. There are just two shows that are even prettier than that.
Yep. Let's move on to runner up, which was Jobless Reincarnation.
I mean, look at this, chat. Look at this. It's so good. It's so good. The characters look great. Their environment's incredible. The animation for magic, the way they used water magic, the way fire burned in this in a fireplace, the way lightning struck, the animation, the fight between Rudy and his dad before he had to leave, with how the soil, how Rudy's dad, I forgot his name. What do you remember his name?
I've always just known him as Shitbag.
Yeah, Rudy's dad puts thinking into the earth, and you can see this. Like, it's this show is visually stunning.
Yeah, it was very well animated, very visually stunning. It's just a shame it couldn't have been a better show.
Really, the yeah, that's exactly what it is. Exactly what it is. Like,
Like, I know you said it picks up later, but at the same time, I'm not willing to stick with Rudy for an entire series,
no, I
let alone
understand. I
let
don't
alone
blame you.
12 episodes just to possibly get a redemption out of him.
Yeah, we get to the demon lands and you start seeing a whole. You see, like there was like one scene that's like a four-armed Goliath, a tiefling, and a Kenku. Like no joke. Like it is straight up that. In fact, I'll post it still. Like we start getting like monster design, people designs, different outfits, and then it's never anything too much. It's not like everyone's like incredibly ornate, but like just like whoever this show had working as concept artists for it knew what the fuck they're doing, are incredibly skilled and talented because this show is just incredible. The animation and choreography and fight scenes, the weight in motions consistent and impacts felt strong, emotions expressed real. It's just the art style in general of itself. The characters are cute. I mean, god damn it, look at Little Sylph. Look at that face. Look at that face. It's a shame that the fucking main character wants to groom her. Like, the show's folly is with its main character. But god damn it all if this show is not a fucking delight to watch.
Yeah, like if this show involved a main character who, like, hey, let's say that your main character was, teenage boy, little bit, a little bit likes the ladies, but, is actually a decent person. I would have enjoyed this because we wouldn't have gotten all of the fucking shit of him being a goddamn pedophile.
Yep. You're doing crunchy sounds by the way, knock it off. And look at that water bullet impact. It's so good. Look at that water bullet breaking that little tree. So good.
I might need to get a new cord for this mic because is it gone now?
Yeah, it's completely gone.
Okay. I wiggled the cord again and it seems to be gone.
Wiggle the cord.
But yeah. Although
However, there's a
we did
show that's even more fucking gorgeous than this.
although we did have a winner. that winner was Wonder Egg Priority, which I'll let you take the reins on this one.
Yeah, thank you. No, Wonder Egg Priority is incredible, and I cannot select a still to show you, so I'm just going to show you. What am I going to show you guys? I'm going to show you the first image we see of I. Boom, first image of I. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, wait, no. Nope, there you go. Look at that. Look at that hoodie that's pulled in. Look at her shiny, gorgeous eyes. Look at her blue hair with her little sheen. That not good enough? You guys want to see the environmental images of this show? Boom! Look at this movie graded fucking Miyazaki level detail with the fucking roots of the lotus plants or whatever is growing in here visible through the somewhat dirty still water with a little fish in the leaves and the moss and the this show
Was
is so fucking pretty.
was I's nickname Sunshine or Sunflower? I can't remember.
Sunflower, because she wears the hoodie with the
Okay.
sunflower and she turns to where the light is, and I think, whoops, sorry about that, chat. I'm excited. And it's so cute. Also, this show's monster designs disgusting because the people who the monsters represent are horrendous fucking evil creatures who are just disgusting human beings, unworthy of even being called that. Gym teacher that exploited and pressured her gymnast student to the point where she had to commit suicide. Boom! Disgusting, like, molesters. This huge, humongous creature. This woman who would bully and gatekeep young girls from her favorite idol community because she was meant to feel insecure by said young girls. This horrendous octopus monster who, like, this show is incredible and its characters are fucking pretty and Wonder Egg Priority, how are you this goddamn mind-blowingly stunning?
Hmm?
I love this show.
Uh, yeah, I know you do. But that is our prettiest show. And next on the list is Lich Award, which our winners of prettiest show were runner up Jobless Reincarnation and winner Wonder Egg Priority. Next award, the Lich Award, we had nominated Idly Pride, Wonder Egg Priority, So I'm a Spider, So What, and Cells at Work Code Black. I feel like we don't really have to talk about any of them but the winners with the
Yeah,
nature of this award.
yeah.
Because runner up, we had Wonder Egg Priority, and the winner, we had Cells at Work Code Black. Reason being, both were on the wheel 3 times, but Code Black only edged out Wonder Egg because it survived the 3rd time on the wheel. They survived the hands of fate way too much for us to, for at least me and Gilly, to put it anywhere. I know you were giving us pushback on Wonder Egg, but we
I will
ultimately landed.
I will say the same thing I said during the stream. Meep, admit that Wonder Egg Priority is an objectively great show.
I have multiple times, but what you have to understand, Dell, what you have to understand is after around episode 4, it, like with
No, I
Cells at
know.
Work Code Black and me, it got to a point where it was only one person talking with occasionally someone else chiming in. It wasn't.
I know.
It got to a point where it wasn't a conversation anymore, which is no one's fault. It's just how the show ended up.
I still to this day don't think it deserves the Lich Award because the Lich Award is to a thing that should have been dead long time ago and toxic. We call our Lich Award the Rotten Fruit Tart Award because Fruit Tart should have been dead long before in our first season of fall 2020. Catch that in our VODs or in our on the YouTube channel. That being said,
the Lich
also
Award,
warning: if you're gonna go look at our old videos, our audio quality is far worse, and we apologize ahead of time.
to me, what the Lich Award has always been is what show should have died sooner on our list. It's not. Well, yes, it is a lot to do about quality. It also has to do about, like, there comes to a point where some shows we just end up saying the same thing over and over each week, like, oh, this part's toxic,
Yeah,
it's not a good show. And that to me is why I was like, why I even put Code Black on the list is like, yeah, no, Code Black got to a point where it was only me talking. It's fair. Fair is fair.
With Code Black, we kept giving it another chance because we thought it'd be fucking better and constantly getting fucking disappointed. But I guess how we feel about Code Black is how y'all feel about Wonder Egg, which a pity, but hell, it is what it is. Spider was on the list because there's multiple times where like fuck this show, these other kids suck and the CG's and I just like why are we get like these jokes aren't landing, and then somehow at the very end it actually brought us around. It got a resurrection from me and Gilly. What was the other show on the list? The other nominee?
Idly Pride.
Idly prized because we kept thinking it's gonna do more with what it had, and it never fucking did. And it just the ensemble kept growing until it's like 11 plus people, and we're like Jesus Christ, and they started falling through the gaps, and we're like, all right, done with this too. Wonder Egg we
Yep.
just talked about, and Cells at Work. I mean, Meep, I defended my show. If you want to defend yours,
I really enjoy Cells at Work. As far as like the action and what's happening not having much gravity, I I mean, sure, but it's an episodic show. It's episodic with an overarching narrative, so it never really bothered me too much. It's I enjoyed watching through the situations. I enjoyed seeing the characters interact. I actually enjoyed the characterization they gave Blonde Boy because he was. I really enjoyed him because he started being better, doing better, but he still like he taught his friend the meaning of like, hey, you're overworking yourself to death. You need to slack off every now and again, or else you're going to actually die. And it's just, I loved all the analogies you can make to Japanese work environments, like especially episode 2 with the liver, where it's like, yeah, no, these these sex workers in real life do go through this, like people exploding at them because their job or people exploding at them because they're stressed. Like these people go through this, and it's making it's showing you like how these people
Meep,
are going through this horrible thing.
Meep.
Yes.
I know you're passionate about Cells at Work, but right now we're talking about why it's on the Lich Awards.
Well, you told me to defend my show.
I said, "You okay? Fair. You know what? Do you have anything to say to acknowledge why it's on the Lich Award, but also say a word in its defense?"
It's on the Lich Ward because, like I said, it survived way too long, and it got to the point again. It got to a point around episode 6 or 7 where it was only me talking about the episode really when we got to it. And again, no fault of anyone's. It's just how the show shook out. And it's like, yeah, no, once you get to the point where we can't have a conversation of it, I think it's overstayed its welcome on our show. That's just for me because the fun of the show is getting a conversation out of these anime.
Yeah, yeah. And honestly, like I'll completely admit it. I was digging my heels in into the I was digging my heels in for One Direct Priority. I was ready to die on that fucking hill. But when you said that, it's like, well, the point of the show is to have this conversation, and regardless of how good the show is, if we're not having a conversation about it, then it dies, and it should die on the show. And I have zero arguments for that. You're absolutely correct.
Yeah. Well, those were the runner-up and the winner. Runner-up being One Drag Priority, and winner being Cells at Work Code Black of the Witch Award. Next,
Hold on.
next category was
I gotta post sad eye. There we go. Sad eye.
our next category, however, was Best Finale. Nominated, we had Jujutsu Kaisen, Skate to Infinity, and Horimiya. So, Skate to Infinity's finale, oh boy, it was so good until it wasn't. Okay, well, that's not fair. It was really the finale itself was really good, but it was disappointing because you never see Adam get his comeuppance.
Yep.
He he gets away with everything. The red-haired lady plotline amounts to nothing.
Yep.
The snake plotline basically amounts to nothing.
Yep.
Like the end credits scene where you see Shadow getting shat on even more didn't it actually upset me.
Yep.
And yeah, it's just the ending itself was just disappointing because of all those factors, even though it had the best skating in it.
Yeah. The ending of the ending is really good. Them all having the little barbecue, Adam fucking skydiving into their barbecue to crash the party. All that, great. The skate between Lug and Adam, fantastic. One of the best skates, if not the best runner up, probably. Uh, but everything you just said is exactly the issue. We've talked about it already here today. Let's not gripe on it anymore. The show dropped so many balls from plot lines to characters at the end, and it did not deserve the winning award in any way. I'm sorry. I'm not happy about saying that, right? I wish it did. I wish the skate ending was better, but we can only judge a show by what it did, and oh boy, where's the policewoman plot line? Nope, she got transferred to Tokyo. Done. Adam gets any comeuppance? Nope, he's rich, handsome, and he reestablishes his relationship with his submissive assistant. Okay, moving on. Cherry got cracked in the face by a skateboard. Oh, he's out of the hospital looking completely back to normal. Well, Joe? He doesn't matter. Shadow doesn't get the girl. Mia? I did like Mia. Mia did get friend. Mia's starting to be able to make friends because he's less of an insufferable brat. He's not even a brat, he's just insecure. But yeah, point of the end of the day, Eight Infinity's ending was.
Yeah. Then our runner-up was Horimiya. We
Oh,
we
is it?
actually had a lot of fun with Horimiya.
Yeah, yeah. Also, I have to laugh at chat because this. I have to acknowledge this. When I said I have to get sad eye up, every eye is sad eye. Fuck, you're not wrong. Yeah, the Horimiya ending was. I don't know, if you take it away, because I'm not finding the words to talk about it. I personally like the Christmas episode more.
The ending worked for me. It was nice to see like all these characters graduating, and it was nice to see Miyamura get to finally let go of his past. Well, not let go, but accept his past and
Yeah.
everything. It was it was nice to see all that and get some things wrapped up. Some things didn't get wrapped up, like the Toru love triangle plotline didn't really get fully wrapped up and as explored as I would have liked it to be. But it's just the nature of the adaptation. And
Yeah.
yeah, no, it was just really sweet. It was a nice send off. It was, I guess, the best way you can compare it is kind of like a Place Further Than the Universe is how it's episode like 11 with the laptop was a better ending than the actual one you got, but you needed a send off episode. If you ended off on the other one, it wouldn't have been as satisfying.
Yeah. I think the Christmas episode did better to like kind of feel final. Like it just we're touching on everything and everyone and everything we've kind of seen develop kind of is being expressed here. But the finale episode, I feel like skipped over a few things, like with the Toto thing. But again, yep, it's just an unfortunate circumstance of having to deal with so much content. There's a couple of scenes that were really good, and a couple of scenes that were just okay. You're just tying a bow. But regardless, it's a good finale. It's a good finale. The scene with Yuki and Toru, while unresolved, still really nice. Seeing his orange head, Miyamoto's orange head friends, I think his name was like Shun or something, kind of like with his girlfriend and kind of figuring things out. Also in an ambiguous esque way, was nice. Seeing Miyamura welcomed by the family, and of course the grand finale between him and Hori, just we're gonna continue together in life because we both want this is nice.
Yeah. Alrighty. Uh oh
Is there
yeah.
anything? Are there any other nominations, or are we just left with the winner?
It was, yeah, we're just left with the winner.
All right. While that ending was nice, holy shit, Jujutsu Kaisen's ending.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk about Nobara or just how a great finale it is?
Just how great of a finale it was in general.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
Anime, even again, not just anime, writers, DMs, all of anime, watch the last episode. Pay attention to the last episode of Jujutsu Kaisen. That is how you do a season finale and set up for your next season without relying on gimmicks and hooks. Resolutions and promises of the future. Holy shit. Not just the final fight, but the after scene with the conversations between the characters, the setups with Sukuna and Itadori, and the mirror between Nobara and Fushiguro, the small conversations between the other students, the overarching enemy, Gojo. The show is so good.
Yeah. It's a really, the anime is extremely well done and well made, and the finale was phenomenal. It to everything it did perfectly. Especially the conversation between Sukuna and Itadori at the end, as well as the conversation between Nobara and Fushiguro, because they're essentially saying the same thing, but directed towards someone else, because they both don't want the other to know that the reason those deaths happened was because of Sukuna, because they think the other will feel guilty. And that's what I loved about those conversations. Also, you get to see Sukuna being a shit.
Yeah, no, yeah. It's honestly like this is such a phenomenal way to end a season and set up for a second season because like we're not leaving on this cliffhanger. They're not relying on that. They've done so much already that they don't need to rely on that. They know that they have this story going and they've hit it beat for beat and they're just letting that kind of resonate until the next season comes out. Yes, we're told that there's a few things. We're shown that, powerful artifacts were stolen, the enemy is mobilizing. Uh, man, it's just, we could talk about this on hours. Go watch the episode. It's such a good way to set up the season. I love, because I love great first and last episodes because it's such a crucial moment. Like Castlevania Season 4, Episode 1 is a fantastic Episode 1. Uh,
Yeah.
and it's such a great time to see it nailed.
Yeah. That's our winner and our runner-up. Horimiya's runner-up and Jujutsu Kaisen as winner for best finale. Do
Absolutely.
you want to take us off for the last category, best episode?
Sure. You also sound a little bit echoey, like you're a little far from your mic and a little choppy.
Oh, how's it now?
Ah, way better. Yeah, it's our best episode, guys. And this, as the same with every season, is really fucking hard to choose, let alone vote on at the end. But we have a
Just gonna say, just wait until spring when we have fucking 3 episodes of one of our shows that are all best episode material.
Accomplices Jujutsu Kaisen episode 24, the finale. Passionate Dancing Night, Skate the Infinity episode 5. Everybody Loves Somebody, Horimiya episode 4. The Girl Flautist, One Direct Priority episode 5. And Monkey Wa, Soma Spider So What episode 4.
I still can't believe you two fucking nominated that episode.
A good episode. Spider deserved a best episode. That episode was funny. We got tactics, we got magic, we got the second brain, I think. I don't remember. It's been almost a season. It's a good episode.
No, we didn't get second brain. We got that after she evolved
from
that fight.
Okay. It was the moment where Spider kind of gets a big win that she needed. There was also a couple of good jokes thrown into there. And me and Gilly just really enjoyed that episode. It wasn't going to win, but we enjoyed the episode.
Hey, that's fair. It's your prerogative. I'm still not happy about it.
Now, The Girl Flautist, which one was that one? Because I'm bad at episode titles.
It was the one where Rika started talking about, like, should we really be saving these people when they committed this selfish act? Like it was that one when she said that.
Mm.
I am just echoing her words.
Yeah. No, I know that. I know that. It's just the thing is though, one direct priority for me. I have difficulty talking about the show episode by episode. Um, so it's difficult for me to pick my favorite episode. Hell, I would shoot to fight for the episode where Frill gets fucking revealed because that shit is insanity. But what was that episode? I think I don't remember when Frill was introduced. Oh well, regardless, what do you have to say about this episode?
I enjoyed it on the level of essentially mostly off of Rika, and like as much as I hate Rika, I enjoyed that bit of character from her. Just her going, "Hey, are we really obligated to save these people?" And we get to learn all of their different motivations for it. I wants to know why she did it, and because of her guilt. Neru is doing it for herself, really, more than anything, uh, and Momoe is doing it because of guilt.
The thing is though, it is I like the thing that I really liked about this episode, I remember it now. Like it was when all of them kind of like met up and had their first like full on friendship hangout and like kind of bond about being Wonder Egg fighters, girls. And yeah, then Rika has that very human breakdown of like, why the fuck are we we don't have to do this, and it kind of plays into that, right? It's like they're all doing it technically for selfish reasons, like they're good reasons, but like just because something is selfish doesn't mean it's good, and just because something is good doesn't mean it's selfless. Yeah, selfishness isn't inherently evil or mean or bad, but it can often be. uh and Rika like we're not heroes, like we're not doing this to be heroes, we're like why the fuck are we doing this, like high school girls, like teenagers, why the fuck are we risking our lives and deaths every day? And like it just highlights a lot of important emotions, and in this like magical realism slash fantastical show and world that we're viewing, we're seeing, we're experiencing, it's great to see that like touch down to earth moments because it keeps us grounded. Also, I think it was episode 11 with Brill. That's the one I would nominate, but since neither of you two saw that episode, we couldn't really put it on the board, so we decided on this one because
Yeah.
Wonder Egg deserved and best episode, right?
Yeah, and ultimately to just let the cast know. Oh, sorry,
Mm-hmm.
background noise. Ultimately, just let everyone know the cast decided that one over, as Del
Yep, you're cutting in and
mentioned,
out.
the Frill. Yeah, we decided on the girl flautist over the one where Frill gets
There's
introduced like Del.
there's some scratchiness coming from your side.
How's it now?
Better.
Okay, so the reason we chose this one over the one that Del mentioned earlier, the Frill episode, is because ultimately, me, like when we were talking about it, we decided that one would be better as an honorable mention because we and Gilly didn't see that episode, so it'd be hard for us to even speak on it. So
And again, we don't want just a single person talking, so.
yeah, and that's why in the actual stream itself, you mentioned it during that, and you mentioned it more during the retrospective though, didn't you?
What do you mean?
The actual Frill episode, you talked about it in the retrospective.
Yeah, sure. The Frill episode
Yeah,
is incredible. It's a last minute villain done absolutely fucking right, because it's you can't even like call them a villain wholeheartedly because they themselves are just a broken product of their environment. And I'm not gonna go into it because I'll have to explain the whole show and I'm not gonna spoil it. But god damn it, content warning, super content warning. But watch One Direct Priority if you are in a place in life where you can handle these kind of subject matters like depression, anxiety, insecurity, and suicide discussed in a very real, hands-on, but also not fantastical, but like accompanied by a fantastical medium as a metaphor. as well as just blatantly talking about this kind of stuff and exploring these dark, very sensitive, intimate, personal themes. But
Mhm.
I can't pick a best episode, and you two weren't going to pick a best episode for of Wonder Egg, so it we moved past that for the sake of not filibustering.
Yeah, just as just as I know there was one of King's Raid Gilly wanted to nominate, and there or not wanted to nominate, but he also made an honorable mention, and there was one of Code Black that I did, and I think that's a good way to do it. Just making honorable mentions, like, hey, this is a show that wasn't on the list or a show that died. Just make an honorable mention, like, hey, it's just note, but won't talk about it too much. Like, yeah, and uh, aside from that, we had Everybody Loves Somebody from Horimiya, which was the love confession, I believe.
Yeah, I mean that's always a good fucking episode, right? Like having the couple
Yeah,
come together.
I kind of wanted the sex episode to be nominated more just because it seeing the okay, see, not for the reason you're thinking, but seeing the intimacy and how their relationship developed was more emotional to me than seeing the actual relationship start. I loved seeing how it developed and where it was to the point when they had that intimate moment when she was like, Himura, I want you to feel the warmth inside me. I was like, aw, that's touching. Also, they fucking.
Yeah, I didn't get that. I did not catch that in that episode. I remember
I
you guys
can't
teased me.
believe you
Yeah,
didn't.
because I thought it
Like,
was the emotional warmth.
because you were about to start teasing me like, Meep, it's not always sexual. Then me and Gilly went, no, they literally had sex. She bit him on the back of the neck to mark him as her property. And he also, it makes me sad because there was a chapter cut out, but of him being like, you know what? I'm okay with people knowing I'm your property. Like, and that was actually a really heartwarming and nice chapter because it was when he
Yeah,
went like, yeah, you know what? No, I'm not going to grow my hair back out because
yeah. The thing
you know how he
with
keeps
yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
it in that same style ever since that episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a actual chapter after after that episode where he actually decides, no, I like my hair this way, and you know what? I don't mind people knowing that I belong to you. It's just this really sweet and nice episode or chapter.
Well, personally, I like there's a level of like possessivism and kind of like uh, physical a degree of impact play that I'm like, all right, well, let's figure out where this is coming from. At the end of the day, they are still a good couple, and it works. So
Yeah.
I won't be too critical or analytic of it, and just enjoy the show for what it is because they're both consenting to each other, and at the end of the day, it's fine. It's still enjoyable.
They're also both teenagers, so
Yeah, and that you should not have a perfect. Oh, that's let me rephrase that. It is understandable that you do not have a perfect relationship at that age. Like that is the time for you to
yeah.
make so many mistakes and learn so many lessons.
Hmm. Then we have Passionate Dancing Night, Longa's first skate with Adam.
I think it's the best
Holy
of Skate.
shit.
Yeah, I think that episode is the best of Skate.
Oh yeah, it had the Archangel. It had good skating. It had Adam being a shit. It was fan fucking tastic. Like as much as I didn't like Adam back then, it was nice to see the actual skating.
Hmm.
Like it was like when the skating was in as intense as that, I enjoyed it, and I that was the best of skate for me.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, oh my God, how did we? Let's talk more about the runner-up in a second. How did I forget this? I just looked up the still like the image gallery for episode 5. Yeah, it's when they went to the arcade and they all fucking hung out and like got a moment to just
Well,
be girls for
you
Wonder Egg.
mentioned that.
Did I? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
you said it was the first time they actually got to hang out as, friends.
Yeah, in my head I was thinking just in Ai's room. I forgot about the whole like arcade thing, and it was like this really cute
Oh,
moment and we
okay.
get to find out about Neru's scars. We see her back that's just been carved, and like we see Neru in action as well. Good episode. You're right. It is a very good episode.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah,
sorry, Skate the Infinity.
you know,
Yeah, it's good.
passionate dancing. Yeah, it
It's
was really good.
the fucking it had everything that made Skate great. It had the skating, which was fantastic, probably I would argue the best. It had the comedy, both from characters and just its over the top bullshit with like Archangel Eve, Langa, and Adam being just a fucking ridiculous over the top villain. Music was fire. Like everything you want from the show, it's right here.
And I wholeheartedly enjoyed that episode. That's why it ended up being our runner up. But the three of us immediately during the actual stream itself went, so accomplices wins as soon as we got to this fucking
Mm-hmm.
category.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's kind of why I'm sad that the original stream is gone, because I remember we got to the category and we were like, okay, so we have these now, and I was about to go, are there any easy cuts? And then just Gilly goes, accomplices wins, and me and you just like proverbially looked to each other and just went, yeah, it
Yeah.
does.
Yeah. Uh, we talked about a lot of it during the best episode, best finale award. And honestly, it gets the best episode award too. The fucking impact this episode had, the glow up for all the characters, and the one we've been yearning for the most. Don't take that out of context. Nobara, her incredible finale battle scene with that musical cue and the visuals, and just her being an incredible fucking badass. There's nothing to say. It is not only is it an incredible finale episode, it is an incredible episode of the show in and of itself.
Mm-hmm. I also absolutely loved Nobara explaining how she views her and Itadori's friendship, and you can tell she's not mad about it. She's just stating it matter as a fact, and in fact, she's happy. She's like, yeah, no, there. Listen, I can't feel bad about everyone else because there. I already have so many people in my life, but then there are some people like you that just take a seat down in my life. It's like you tell she isn't mad, and it's actually really heartwarming. It's
Mm-hmm.
like I know the memes are insane, but just the fucking meme of Itadori just being everyone's bisexual friend is perfect for me because he has equal amount of sexual tension with Fushiguro and Nobara.
I
Or
I don't
not
know.
sexual, romantic tension, romantic tension.
Mm, intimate energy, sure, because there's a level of trust
Yeah,
and vulnerability between all of them. I wouldn't know if
yeah.
I would go that far,
Well, yeah,
but
okay,
yeah,
yeah, not romantic, but intimate. Like the one where you can see them hugging a lot,
yeah,
like being very
intimacy,
huggy
yeah,
with
yeah,
each
yeah.
other. And
It's
why did Junpei have to die?
I I know, man, I know. I'm still partially in denial about that. I'm not gonna lie.
I Dal don't. It'll once you accept it, it'll hurt less. I love that fake out though, but that's a different season.
Yeah, yeah. In this, yeah, we got inter-party dialogue and interactions, which are fantastic. We got just it's just good. I mean, like I feel like we've already said everything that's been fantastic about this
Yeah,
episode. If you have anything else to say, go ahead. Otherwise, like that the scene, her final scene plays in my head to this day. I know I said it like three, if not four times now, but goddamn that nail snap musical cue and just bloody gore explosion, as well as Itadori's and Nobara's like joint black flash. Like it's so good.
yeah. No, I loved it. It was great. Like a lot of people will bug me and be like, why do you like Jujutsu Kaisen so much? It's just a standard shonen. It's just a standard overrated shonen.
It's not.
It's overhyped. It's overrated. I'm just here like you don't understand. It's because it deviates from a lot of shonen tropes, but it also does a lot of shonen tropes.
Really
But the
well.
ones it does incredibly well, yeah.
Yeah. Like I'll be the first to
That's
say that Meep, you get to like a near fever like feverous you get into like a near fever when it comes to a frenzy almost when it comes to Jujutsu Kaisen when we were watching it. Like every conversation I would have outside of FMK would be you would be mentioning Jujutsu Kaisen, but there's a reason why you're so passionate about this show. This show
because
is quality.
okay, let's take a little peek into Meep's brain here. Anime is one of my favorite mediums. I'd go in on record and say it is my favorite medium. It is one of the only mediums that gets me as emotional as I do. Like there are times in D&D and some D&D podcasts I watch where I do get a little bit emotional, but like video games, movies, and that, they don't get me anywhere near as emotional as anime does. And that's because I grew up on a lot of this. And there have been multiple times in my life where I've taken like 2 year breaks because I've never had the reason to watch it. Like when TFS did their FMK, it actually gave me a reason to keep up with some of their anime. And the FMK was in partial an excuse to hang out and talk to my friends about anime, but also an excuse to find anime to watch, because just finding them on my own is incredibly intimidating to me. Like I've finally been able to be like, no, I can go and pick out these. After 3 fucking seasons of this, I've finally been able to go out on my own and look for anime to watch, like quintessential quintuplets, Demon Slayer. After me and Lewis finish JoJo's, I'm gonna be watching Shield Hero. After that, probably Fire Force.
Shield Hero is good.
Yeah,
I
and
also want
it's
to watch
just
Fire Force, but Shield Hero is good.
yeah, and it's just I have this one medium that brings more emotion out of me than anything. I just get incredibly passionate about it. And like and especially with things like Jujutsu and Vivi, for example, those two have been the ones that I've been the most fervorous in quotation marks of. It's because there's only one other show that I've ever considered a 10 in anime, and that is Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. A 10 for me means that I enjoyed it all the way through, and there's absolutely nothing I would change about it. I would leave it exactly the same.
Sloth is
And for
stupid.
me, Sloth is stupid, but he serves his point, and I actually wouldn't really change him. He exists to give a really good fight with the husband and with Armstrong, and I love him because of that. But with both Jujutsu and Vivi, I've fought on multiple occasions. Like Jujutsu at the start, sure, I would have said give the side characters more stuff. Now I wouldn't, because the fact they didn't get as much in the first half makes what they get in the second half all the more better. Like Maki and Fushigiro's fight against Hanami, while short-lived, was amazing. Fushigiro's domain expansion, fantastic. Nobara's moment with the nail, fantastic. Like, I don't think any characters overstayed their welcome on screen. And yeah, and there's nothing I would change. And I hope continuing on, we get at least one show a season that I would consider a 10. Highly unlikely, it's just been lucky, because Winter wouldn't have one if Jujutsu didn't continue into it, but
One Direct, well, I can't give One Direct its rating because it isn't done yet, but Horimiya is pretty fucking good.
oh yeah. Although there are still things I would change about Horimiya a bit. That's why it's a 9 for me.
Mm-hmm. Fair
Like,
enough.
for example, I would have given some characters less attention to give Toru and the love triangle more due. Like, I wouldn't have had the bully character. Like, the bully character, while nice, I would have cut out probably most of his stuff, because it felt like he really didn't add much overall.
I think he helped facilitate Miyamura's narrative, and a
Yeah.
mention that I didn't get to say. It was incredible for Horimiya's finale. It was incredible seeing Miyamura come full circle and kind of have his old self, like have a conversation with his old self, and being Miyamura's be like, yeah, I'm gonna try to improve and not ignore you anymore, and like him accepting his old self, and in return his old self going like, no, no, that's okay, you don't have to do that. I'll go. I'll. It's time for me to leave anyway. And I'm like, so good.
Yeah. Yeah, that was amazing. Like, I don't know. It's just maybe I would have just given it a couple more episodes even, but it is what it is. It's just I I I wish that love triangle got more due because it needed more in my opinion. But that's just me.
No, fair enough. But exactly, this is a show of opinions, and we welcome others
Mhm.
as well. But at the end of the day, these are our thoughts and feelings on the shows that we watch, and that has really it is what it is. We got what we got,
Yeah.
and honestly, winter season was fantastic, despite our
Oh yeah.
critiques and even our gripes. Like, it was a great time, and there you have it, everyone. Our awards
Oh
for
yeah.
winter 2021.
Winter season, quality wise, definitely our best season so far.
Oh yeah, in terms
Like
of the anime.
whereas the fall and spring so far have been quantity. Like this has been quality because both fall and spring had 4 shows, 2 of which I'd consider around. So fall had 2 8s, where 2 8s, 110, and a 7. Yeah, no, like quality wise, winter was definitely our best. Like quantity wise, the other 2 have definitely had more good. But if we're going off of quality, winter definitely.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. It was a good time. But I think this is a good point to end our retrospective review of our winter season and
Yeah,
awards.
yeah. We started at around 11:30, so we've been going for 3.5 hours.
No, we've been going for 4.5 hours, but
Well, I'm not counting the break and us starting to set up.
good point, good point. But
Yeah, 11,
regardless,
11, 11:30 is when we started to actually, talk.
yeah. And you guys have been hanging out with us since then. Thank you everyone for the raids. Thank you for the follows. Guys, we'll
Yeah,
catch you, our fellow FMK fans, our FMKers, which is a terrible term. I don't want to fucking use it. But yes, all of you watching us today for the FMK in particular, thank you so much for coming. We'll be continuing our spring 2021 season on Monday at 1 p.m. Standard Time, Eastern Standard Time. And then for those of you hanging out, in about 2 hours, we will be playing D&D here. So I will see you guys then. Thank you so much for coming. Meep, where can they find you?
you can find me at soul_king777, being a gremlin. Also, by the way, check your Twitter in a few moments.
I will check my Twitter in a few moments. But yes, also remember to give the lewds
Don't
disclaimer.
fall. Don't follow me if you're a minor. If I find out you're a minor, I'll break your fucking knees.
Well then. And you guys can catch me here as well as everywhere else as Dalaron Quest. That's Dalaron Quest. Thank you guys for joining us again. You guys can catch me streaming, like I said, our FMK anime on Mondays at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I also stream Tuesdays and Fridays. Tuesdays, like I mentioned, at around 7, 8 p.m. We do our D&Ds. It's like a slow burn, more focused on the role play and social simulation D&D campaign. It's a lot of fun. Come through if you guys like hanging out with that. We're always happy to see you. And then on Fridays, I do lose, learn, win. And that is when I play fighting games and I try to accept the fact that losing is a part of the game, and I try to learn from my mistakes and perhaps even win a few matches as I grow and develop as a fighting game player. Either way, we'll catch you all next time. Thank you everyone for coming. Bye.